Alright, welcome everybody to a brand new stream, which honestly has been quite some time. You didn't see a green screen there, did you? No, you didn't see one, because there was never a green screen to begin with. Just like there was never a stream to begin with yesterday. My apologies for that. Basically, yesterday, things got in between. I did intend to stream, but things got in the way, which kind of just happens. Finisher, how's it going, man? How are you doing, dude? I hope you're doing alright. I hope you guys' weekend was okay. Today's kind of like going to be an impromptu, kind of like combination, maybe just chatting and game stream. I'm not quite sure necessarily like what it's going to be, but we'll see. I'm doing alright. That's good to hear, man. That's good to hear. So, this week, basically, I think we have, well, tomorrow we're definitely going to go to get started with Halo 3, which I'm pretty excited about because, last week I basically finished up editing all the Halo 2 videos, all the like highlight of the streams that we did. They're going to be coming out over like the next couple of like weeks. This week there's going to be 2, next week's going to be 1, and all that sort of stuff. So that stuff is sorted. But I'm really curious as to like how the story of Halo 2 is going to continue with Halo 3. So we're going to get started with that this week, where we might or might not have a framecast. I'm not quite sure. If we have one, it's going to be on Thursday. If we don't have one, we're just going to have to choose one. Mika, how's it going? I can explain. What do you need to explain, Mika? What do you need to explain? Tell me. Let's see. Villager says Tuesday is a bitch because I have an 8 lesson long day. Holy shit, dude. Holy fucking shit. That is... Whew, woof. That is rough. Well, settle down, man. Settle down. Let's relax from it. Unless you're still right in the middle of it. But I don't think so. I think you're in this time zone. So the day should be over now. And you should just be able to like relax. Put your feet up. So I go to school at 8 a.m. And then I get home at 4 p.m. It's 8 p.m. Yep. You're kind of like an hour behind, ahead. It's 7 p.m. here. You're an hour difference. I don't even need to I don't even need to calculate. It's what it is. But at 8 a.m. it's dark and at 4 p.m. it's dark. Yeah, dude, like that is literally just like the biggest problem of like the winter time. It is just horrible, yeah, because I live so far north. My absence, we had a few people stay over and I felt like a stranger at my own home for 2 days. Damn, dude. Oh man, I know the feel. What the fuck happened there? It was just like the darkness, the depths of all hell. It's like the void consumed me. Luckily, the void is back. Holy shit. I can finally breathe though. Oh my god, dude. Were it like relatives or were it like friends or was it by your choice? Or like I assume it wasn't your choice, but like dude, I can totally understand your feeling. Like, to be honest, I do feel like I love it when friends or family come over, and I really like having people over, and like I'm always willing to help people, but it's kind of like the saying that, you know, people and fish stay like fresh like for the same amount of time, which like at most 30 days. If you're spending more than 30 days with people that you normally don't spend like all day with, it's gonna be weird as fuck. It's gonna be like annoying. At the same time, also what you have is, I don't know, I try to be like as open and honest with people as I can be. Just like, I don't give a fuck, because like to me it's like, if like I don't want to have like a fake facade with people. I hate having this thing where like, oh man, you know, yeah, no, I totally don't play games. No, I don't spend my time playing games because like I'm a good human being, so please like me. I'm like, fuck it, you know. If I just want to like chill on the couch and play games all day while there are people over, and like they don't like that, then sucks to be them, but that's me, right? So even though I have that attitude, it is still like, you still have this thing where you can't really be yourself. So yeah. But we do have swimming as our first lesson for PE on Tuesday. That is really cool. That is really cool. Like, that is like the most fun thing in the world. Honestly, swimming is the most fun thing in the world. And I say that as a very experienced swimmer. Actually, I am actually very experienced. I'm like, I love it. I cannot imagine a week where I would not swim. Actually, I did experience a week where I couldn't swim, which was like last week when I did not stream. I also didn't swim, and it made me feel very bad. So it's good. It's good that PE actually like allows you to swim. Visual representation of your heart. Family friends, which kind of makes it worse. Oh no. Luckily it's over, man. Luckily it is over. You got your own kingdom to yourself again, your own homedom. So, but yeah, like, Villager, as you then drop a swimming vlog or something. I had considered it. I have considered it. But the thing, okay, so like I've actually considered many times like doing like workout vlogs or swimming vlogs or something like that. But the thing which I find is like, first of all, when it comes to swimming, it's like really weird because like you can't really like speak in the camera while you're swimming, and it's like really weird to like show swimming videos because it's just like it's someone just going back and forth in a lane, and it's like, okay, so what would be the content there, right? The only content that will be there is like if there's actually going to be a race, but yeah, like that doesn't really work unless we do unless you have like someone around where it's like, okay, hey, you know, today I'm gonna show him around, like, I don't know. So I thought about it, but like a lot of times when it comes out to workout or swimming videos or something like that, it tends to have this really weird thing because like when it comes to like doing workout stuff or like training stuff, first of all, like what is going to be your angle? If your angle is going to be like, I am going to teach you how to do workouts, or I'm going to teach you like how to do this set, you can forget it. You can absolutely forget it, because I cannot teach you how to do a workout. I cannot teach you how to swim through a video, because you might be the best swimmer in the entire world, the best like workout person in the world. You might be an Olympic champion, or you might be someone that can just like barely move a muscle. And like, how am I gonna like give you a training set or a video where I'm gonna teach you something that you can actually like work with? You can't. At the same time, one thing that you should also work watch out for is, first of all, like I can't, like if I give you like something where like, oh man, I'm gonna teach you how to be a pro swimmer, it's like, now just float in the water. You're just gonna be like, dude, holy shit, like what kind of scam artist are you? Like that is so fucking simple. You didn't even teach me anything. This is so boring. I'm never gonna watch this shit again. It's like, well, that's one thing. But like the thing that I'm even more scared of is like, let's say I give something too heavy, where I'm like, go and do 200 push-ups or something, and then someone like injures themselves. Like they can be like, oh my god, I just injured myself because she said I had to do push-ups. How dare you? It's like, that's also not what I want to do. So like if you're gonna go with the entire like teaching angle or show you how to do it angle, like that is kind of like, you can't really go down that route because you have such a wide range of like people that are watching. Like you can't take care to make it for everyone. So then what angle do you take it with? If it's like part of like if you make it part of like a daily vlog, we're like, oh, I'm gonna show you what I do as my workout routine. Have you ever watched those like, oh, my daily routine as like a fake rich person on YouTube? They're so fucking cringy. Like these videos are the most cringy thing ever, because it kind of like assumes that, oh my god, everyone cares like about like how I do my workout because it's so good. It's like, fuck that shit, man. Fuck that shit. So the only thing in which I can say like be fun in a sense is if it's part of something. So like, let's say someone comes over and we're making a video together. It's like, oh, let's go do like a CrossFit course, or let's go do like a swimming practice, like one versus one sort of thing. Like at that point in time, you can make it like fun because it's like it's part of a larger narrative. So I've kind of like looked into that, but at the same time, it's like it's weird. But yeah, let's see. I used to go to swimming training, but then it got too much for me. It is so weird. My computer does something like really strange. Hold on. I kind of want to show this. So to like show that I am not weird. Okay. Okay. Hold on, just a second. So this right here is my monitor, and as you might be able to tell, can you tell this? Can you see this? Can you see this? Like there is like some strange artifacting going on right here. Please, camera, please pick it up. The camera is barely picking it up, but you should be able to like somewhat see it. Like there's artifacting like coming from underneath Mika right here, and I would say it's my monitor. However, if I move this away, it's like literally like it's not like a monitor thing because it stays under here, right? Can you see that? I think you can like barely see that, but like literally it is like, it stays within this box. So it is some sort of bug in the box. It's not like my monitor is dying. I've seen it a couple of times before. I legit thought every single time my monitor was dying, but it's not. It's just like Twitch, just weird ass like bugged like chat interface. I don't know what the hell is wrong with it, but yeah. Anyway, that was kind of distracting me. The camera focus is worse than my sight. Yeah, I can't do much about it. It's just like a cheap ass webcam. It's a cheap ass webcam that doesn't have a focus ring, and that like I don't fucking know how it works. But yeah, it's really hard to tell. But there's like some weird artifacting as though like the monitor is dying. Rascals, how's it going? But if a sus person says someone else isn't sus, doesn't that make both sus? I mean, like if it's Among Us, everyone is sus but the imposter. How's it going, Rascals? Good to see you, man. So yeah, let me see. I used to get to swimming training, but then it got too much for me as I had to go like every day of the week, and I didn't have time to do homework after school, and now it would get in the way of a school day, so I don't go anymore. That's unfortunate, but I can see it. Me pretending your podcast with Olivier doesn't exist. Why are you pretending that doesn't exist? It's out there. It is out there. It's only in Dutch, so I want to do some more podcasts at some point, but like maybe we should talk about that in a moment. During swimming, sometimes water gets in my goggles and it's a pain to swim. Yeah, you gotta let it go, sort of thing. You gotta like pull off, let it go. Actually, like back in the day, people swam without goggles. Like there have been people that I've trained with that were completely fine, like not swimming with goggles at all because they were so used to it. They were insane. Actually, they were quite sane, but they were insane that they could do that. So yeah, Michel's not weird. He's not sus. Sadly, I can't. Let's see, they can't see each other's eyes, so it makes them sus. Noted. Oh my god. Oh my fucking god. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Hope you're doing alright, Rescas. I hope everything is fine. So, let's see. There are people that can handle the chlorine to their eyes, but I don't even like normal water on my eyes like that. Well, like, that is actually, like, there's actually a funny story. Like, so I've done quite a bit of swimming, and basically, which means that, like, I've been in water with, like, various degrees of chlorine, and there was a pool I trained in, which, like, most of the time didn't really have that much chlorine in it, because it was a very, like, infrequently used pool. And then at a certain point in time, like, this pool, like, it was kind of new, and, like, people were thinking, like, well, what if, like, it may be better for the pool that we have put some chlorine in it, because otherwise, like, you may get algae that, like, produce, or you have, like, it's cleaner if you have, like, some chlorine in it, so the water stays cleaner, it's better for the pool. So they decided to, because for the longest time, like, a very small amount of chlorine was used in that pool, they decided to, like, give it a chlorine shock. So just like boost it a little bit, right? Like if you haven't done something, just give it a bit of a boost, and there you go, off to the races. So like we went to train with like a handful of people. It wasn't a really big group, and we went to like swim, and like we swam the first kilometer, and like I was already like feeling like I had the cough. I had like an itch down my throat. It was really bad, like to the point where multiple times I had to like stop, get up, and like do like that. But I thought it was just me, and I was like, well, maybe I'm getting sick. Who knows? Until at a certain point in time, someone stood up and then they said, like, hey, I'm kind of getting like a cough and an itch in my throat. And everyone, like, I was like, yeah, I have that too. And then literally everyone had the same thing. So we were like, well, it smells a lot like chlorine here too. Let us go and like check what the like chlorine measurement is in this pool. And like you kind of have like this gradation scale from like green to red, and basically the testing paper turned purple, which wasn't even on the scale. So yeah, that's when I got a chlorine immunity. Actually, I don't think I have an immunity, but if I was a superhero, my superpower would now be chlorine, because I was like thrown in pure chlorine. Actually, it wasn't pure chlorine, but it was quite curious. I actually re-listened to the ones with Defton and Sandy because I needed something playing in the background, and they were really good. You for sure should do more. Chloride, man. I don't know how much chloride we use, but one of my classmates can't swim in the pool because of allergies. Damn. Actually, chloride, man, is an awful idea. I can clean shit. I can be like, someone be standing out there with like dirty dishes, and I'm just like, wow, it's clean. Someone be standing there with like clothes that's got like color in them, like, wow, and then like all the color is gone, because like if you spill any chlorine on like clothes or something, it just like takes away the color entirely. So maybe that's that. Maybe that will be my usefulness as chloride man. Woo. So yeah, that is something I could do. But yeah, like that's something I have to like. Yeah, chlorine is it's what it is. It's in there. It's not really great to your eyes. It's also not really great. Like some people can't stand it. Some people are more so into it. It just depends. So yeah, today I actually like wanna like I wanna bring a couple of things up, especially like during like the just chatting bit. I kind of want to like talk about things. God, holy shit, dude! Whoa! Oh my god! Like actually, fun fact, legit. I was actually like recently, like last week or 2 weeks ago, I was actually going over some what was it? I was going over some old streams. I was going over some like old material, and like I think I saw like a little segment where like you were chatting and like a couple of other people were chatting. I was actually thinking like, dude, how's Gunna doing right now? Because I haven't seen him in a while. And now you show up. Hey Michel, been probably way over a year. How's life? Life's been quite good. It's been going. It's been going like as is because, you know, not much is changing yet. We're going back into a lockdown. However, we have on the horizon that next year July is going to be a TwitchCon here in Amsterdam. So I'm kind of like, dude, I really hope that shit's gonna happen because that's something I'm really looking forward to. But yeah, furthermore, it's like pretty alright. So how are you, man? How are you doing? I hope you're doing good. I hope everything's been right for you the past year, and yeah. So yeah, today, like, I kind of wanted to talk about a couple of things. This is kind of what I had scheduled for yesterday, for like just chatting stream, and today maybe I was like, well, maybe we'll do some like Back 4 Blood. If you guys feel like doing some Back 4 Blood, just like let me know, because like I'm honestly also down with that. But I kind of just want to go over a couple of topics that I think are kind of important. One is talking about a little bit about purpose, because I had last week, I didn't stream last week, or was it the week before? Hold on, I kind of got to check. I think it wasn't streaming 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, I didn't stream for an entire week, and there was a good reason for that. And I kind of wanted to like talk a little bit about that because because like it also ties into some of the stuff with YouTube and Twitch and like more things in general. I also think it's like good to have like one of these like more meaningful, more like deeper topic talks once in a while, because I notice myself that every single time I do those on stream, I always like walk away thinking like, oh man, that was a great topic. And at the same time, I always like talking about these things because the thing which I found is that like, what are like the most meaningful things that like you can talk about? And like a lot of times it's like some deep things within your life, like where you're heading to, what's your purpose, like what makes you happy, like how you're feeling, like how you're really, right? What are obstacles you're facing? Like where are you seeing yourself in 5 years in the future, all that sort of stuff, like things like which actually concern us, even sometimes, you know, we distract ourselves with things to like not really think about those things. But a lot of times, like, these are things when we actually lay in bed at night and we actually don't have any distractions, we don't have any YouTube videos or whatever, these are things we think about. However, the thing which I found is, like, we barely discuss them with anyone. It's like, even with some of my closest friends, it's rare that we actually, like, go and sit down and be like, hey, how are you actually doing? Like, how you really? Because a lot of times, it's like, hey, how's it going? Yeah, it's going great. Yeah, I'm quite good. How's the weather? Yeah, the weather's quite cold. It's gonna winter. It's quite cold. Did you see the soccer match? Yeah, I saw the soccer match. Okay, well, cool. See you around. And that's even for like good friends. It's like, it's so surface level. So a lot of times, like, I do think it's cool to just like kind of stop and kind of like look a little bit at like what is going on, like go a little bit deeper sometimes. And I've always been afraid of doing that on stream. We've done it a couple of times over the last 2 years on stream, and it's actually been like really good. Like, I've experienced it in a very well way, and like I've always been afraid, like maybe it feels like a little bit like I'm complaining about like how bad I've got it. And like, I'll admit, I'm facing my own problems, like everyone else is. Like, everyone is facing their own issues. I'm never asking you to take on my issues because, like, what the hell? That's not your problems. But I also think that it's also good to just like hear, to like use what I've, like, my experience is like a bit of an example that, first of all, no one is perfect. No one is going like perfectly fine for life and is having an absolute blast. You're not missing out. Like, let's put it that way. And secondly, it's like those are like ways in which I can use examples to like bring things, like give a little bit more context and talk about these things. So yeah. Getta says, I've been good, just recovering from the flu, but I'm slowly getting my life together. And stuff's been, so I've been good otherwise, just been busy trying to better myself in life. Hell yeah, dude, that is great to hear. That is really, really good to hear. I'm sorry that you suffered from the flu, but hopefully it wasn't COVID. It was just like the regular flu, which also here has just been like going around like crazy. Like, we have COVID, which is kind of like acting up again. We have like a bunch of cases. We're probably going to go into full lockdown again, which I'm very excited about, but it's whatever it is. But at the same time, we've also had like the regular flu catch up, because since we've been in lockdown for like 2 years, what you're finding is that like not a lot of people have been getting sick. So now that people are going out a little bit, like now getting sick is kind of like on the menu again and coming back with a vengeance, like not just COVID. So I saw the visage in getting an enhanced edition for PS5 and such, but in my opinion the enhanced edition is just to make more sales. Let's see, it's a fantastic horror game, maybe even the scariest horror game, and it even made massive jump and he isn't scared like 99% of the time. Damn. Well, it's actually like about a week too late for like spooky scary stuff, which honestly, I'm sorry we didn't touch on that much this year on the channel. Maybe we'll like do it next year again. But yeah, a lot of times, who gives a fuck if it's late? Well, actually, I don't give a fuck. We can do it for like a Christmas special. Maybe we'll do like a horror game for like a Christmas special, because I kind of want to do something special for Christmas. I don't really have a great idea, but yeah, you will play it one time or another. I definitely will. I definitely will. Just a regular flu, definitely not COVID. Oh, I'm glad to hear that, man. I am glad to hear that. NVIDIA, it's never too late to shit yourself out of fear. It's never too late for it. It definitely isn't. Maybe I'm mentally just preparing myself, just collecting all that shit, so like there can be an absolute great response of like a giant shit explosion. And I can make my very first video on the channel talking about just a bunch of shit being everywhere. There was so much shit, and shit was just everywhere, and shit was on the walls and flying around, and there was just shit. And then like in a couple years time, I'll be in a pink suit and I'll be making videos, making music videos. And then I'll quit my YouTube and I'll go into my music career, my official music career, and I'll make some absolute killer hits. I think that is an absolute great plan. Actually, we should get started with that. Just be prepared to be lost in the game for like 70% of the time, because the game gives very little clues as to what you have to do. I mean, look at the Halo series. Look at the bloody Halo series. Like, Halo barely gives you like a point to where to go to, and like I'm lost like 90% of the time. It's like I go back over it, just like see like where am I now? Where do I need to go? And it's like, oh my god, it's just like, it's horrible. It is horrible. NVIDIA, I hope you're doing well, man. I hope you're doing well. So yeah, let's see. Let me think for a second. I kind of want to see like how I want to get started. I want to get started with this because actually, like, let's talk about 2 weeks ago, because we've had a couple of talks on this channel. A lot of times when I have these talks, it's kind of like instigated while we're playing a game. All of a sudden, something comes up. I'm kind of like, yeah, man, you know, I'm feeling great. You guys dig deeper, and all of a sudden, like, we get started and we get talking about deeper stuff. Now I kind of want to see like, what if I like bring something up, not necessarily out of like, oh man, I'm feeling really bad right now, because honestly, I'm feeling quite good. But what if I actually like what if I actually like start something, like start up a topic, and then also just like give a little bit of like ideas behind it, sort of thing. And I think that the best place to start is I think 2 weeks ago when I did not have a full week of streaming. I think that was like 2 weeks ago. I didn't stream the entire week. The reason why is because I'm also doing university this side, as you may or may not know, and we just had a killer week full of just like projects and tests and shit that had to be done in that single week, had to be handed in, all that sort of stuff. Everything coming together at the same time. Like, we also had like a private situation within the family, so that took away a lot of my time. Basically, it meant that like I had very little time on my hands, which included not being able to stream, not being able to make videos, and also not being able to swim. Which honestly, I don't know if you guys have like if you guys very often have that there are things that you really care about in life, and things you just like have to do. And then like all of a sudden the things you have to do just take away like all the time for the things that like you want to do, or you care about doing, and then just like your entire life is just like this like one like train ride of, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, and you don't do something that you actually care about, and you just feel like, man, this last week has just been meaningless. That was me 2 weeks ago, because while I do care about like the university studies that I do, I think it's very, very interesting. I think that the field of artificial intelligence is like fantastically, like it's going to be very much entangled with our future, and there's going to be there's so many interesting things that I'm actually learning. Is it something that like gives me great satisfaction? Not necessarily. It's kind of a distraction, and I kind of want to get into that, into like the distraction a little bit. But first, like, let us kind of start with let's see, whatever. I want to take a look a little bit theoretical first. Or whether I just want to like talk from this is really weird, because like this is the first time I'm kind of like trying to do this. Let's actually start out with why I call like university distraction, and like why I call like these things like they give me actual purpose. The reason why is because I think it comes down to like something that you identify yourself with, and why do we identify ourselves with like certain things that we do, and why do we not identify ourselves with other things that we do? And I think a lot of it comes down to what really relates. And identifying a relate like might seem like very like similar things, but what I found is like a lot of times I do something not necessarily because I think that's a cool thing to do, but because I see myself within it. So why am I not, for instance, let's say, doing math homework or swimming for 20 kilometers? Oh man, I'll take the 20k swim every single day, man. I'll take that. So there are so many things in the world that you can do, and that's always staggered me, like, to an insane degree. Like, you can look into something like, I mean, right there, I don't know if you've seen it, but right there, I have, like, a keyboard. Right there, sitting there. I have never learned how to play a musical instrument, because I always thought, like, back in the day when I was young, I thought that music was something you either had or you did not have. Because, like, always if you watch, like, these TV shows, people always talk about, like, oh man, you know, they just had it. They're these talent shows, like, they just come up and they're like, oh, I can sing and I've never done anything else. Like I've never done this before. I just came up here, I just came out of nowhere and I'm starting to sing and now you're gonna be a pop star sort of thing. So I always thought that, like, being, like, having a music, like, talent was something you had or you didn't have. And if you didn't have it, well, you could just get fucked, son, because you're never going to be able to play it. You're never going to be able to understand it. All these squiggly lines and notes, like, well, who knows what that means, right? So to me, it was something that, like, I always really admired. Like, I think music is fantastic. It's, like, such a great way of, like, losing yourself into a certain mood or in a certain, like, idea. Like, oh, I love it. But it's something I never was able to understand. I still don't. It's right there, and at a certain point in time, I do want to learn it. But there are so many things in the world that that's kind of what I want to illustrate. There are so many things in this world that you could actually, like, get interested with or identify yourself with. There are so many insane things in this world which are very, very interesting, which are very, very helpful, which are very, very, very satisfying, which are very, very profitable. Like, there are so many things that you can do in this world right now where either it will like give you, like, a great deal of dopamine from doing it, like playing games. Like, there's so many fucking games out there you can choose from. There's so many videos or streams that you can watch. That's entertainment wise, but you can also, like, there's also so many things that require attention. And if you spend some time, like, giving it attention, you could start a great business. You could, like, start, like, a great life goal. You can go and, like, achieve, like, nirvana or something for, like, meditation and shit. Like, there are so many things that you can do, but why don't you do all those? Why do you not do all of these things that are out there that you can do? Why do you not do all of those, but only a select few of them? And I think the reason is, like, a lot of times it comes down to, what do you relate with? Because why would you choose, like, playing an instrument over, for instance, like, learning computer programming? And I think a lot of times at first, there's an entire, like, nature and nurture thing where, like, sometimes you're born with certain skills, sometimes you're like, you have, like, your environment around you have people that influence you to go into something, and I think that, like, there is definitely, like, a large gradation of truth within that, but I don't necessarily fully agree, because, like, I feel that when it comes to, like, something people are good at, it doesn't necessarily mean that they identify with that or they relate with that at all. It's like there are things that people can be really fucking good at, but it just bores them out of their mind. And there can be things that people can be really fucking bad at, but it just motivates them just to see, like, holy shit, I'm so bad at this. Like, basically, when I started making videos or streams, I wasn't very creative as far as I was concerned. I wasn't very, I wasn't very, like, social or, like, engaging with other people. So this entire thing where I would, like, go out and, like, be creative, make creative videos, and talk to people at the same time, it's like, that wasn't in my ballpark, but it felt like something that I connected with anyway, so I decided to go for it, like, overcome these challenges, and, like, here I am, I'm doing this, and I'm liking it a lot. So, being good at something, or being talented for something, doesn't necessarily mean that that's something that you're going to be relating with, or that's something that you're going to be identifying with. So, like, I think a lot of it comes down to, like, what relates to you, and a lot of that comes from, like, your past experiences. Like, let me first catch up with chat, and now I'll, like, go into that for a little bit. So yeah, I hate playing the recorder, it's awful. Luckily in school we only did it until the 4th grade. I hate playing any bowl games that include the use of hands. I come for a basketball for shit, nor play volleyball, and they're forcing us to play it in school. I think one of the reasons, like, honestly, dude, I can fairly understand you. When I was in school and we had to do all this random crap, I didn't like it either. And I don't necessarily think it's the best way of going about it, because there's a bunch of things, like, for instance, hold on. Like, for instance, right here, we have, like, I have this book here called Wuthering Heights. This book right here, I was actually given by my school, by my high school. We had to read this because it was, like, for English literature. And, like, we had to read this book because it's very, very interesting. There's so much going on. It's, like, set in the 18th century. It's, like, you gotta read it. It's, like, good. It's, like, highly regarded literature. Honestly, when I read this, at first, I couldn't give a shit. Because, like, we had to read this thing where it's like, go read, like, your, the first so much pages, and then, like, answer some questions about it, and next week, like, read it again, and answer some questions about it. I couldn't give a fuck. And a couple years later, I went back to this book, and honestly, like, it absolutely blew me away. Because if you look at this as from like a psychological point of view, like if you read this story, it's an insanely good tragedy where basically like everyone in this book is having a very fucking terrible time, where they're making it terrible for everyone else around them, all because they're most of their actions are not made out of like the idea of like let's make the world a better place. It's more like, I was dealt a shit hand, so why should I bother to step up and make something better? And it's really, really interesting. Like, everyone's motivations, you can very well understand. They're not necessarily out there to cause a tragedy, but they're also not out there to like evaluate their actions and be like, well, what could I do to make this better? And that is really interesting. Like, it's really fucking interesting. I really love it. I've read it like 2 times. I would have never done that in school, because school didn't like bring this to me in a way that interests me. And like, that's what I think a lot of times when it comes to these bull sports, or when it comes to like, you know, playing the recorder, it's like, who gives a fuck? So on the one hand, I feel like, yeah, school doesn't necessarily do a great job. It's introducing you to those things. At the same time, if you grow beyond that, like if you get beyond that stage, it is like, it's very unlikely that you actually get in touch with so many different things. Like, one thing that I really appreciate from especially my like primary school and high school time was that they would force you to do random shit. Like, here in like university, we don't really do random shit anymore. If you get into like, you know, if you start your own career, or like if you get to work with a company, you're not going to do random shit apart from like workshops or whatever your friends decide to like take you on for the weekends. But like, it doesn't really like, you don't really do as random shit anymore. Like, let's go play an instrument, let's go and like do some arts and crafts, let's go and do some random sports. You don't do that anymore, because, you know, why would you? However, because you get to like try all these things, like you will find so many things you don't give a crap about, but at the same time you did those. And I think that there is definitely something to say for having done those. Do they provide them in like the best way? Is like the grading and stuff in the best way done? I don't know, but I do at least appreciate that, you know, they provide you the opportunity. At the same time, I very, very well remember what it was like having to do shit where I was like, oh my god, why we're doing that? So, yeah, you know, it's kind of like, you win some, you lose some. Let's see. Gutta says, most of the people in this world are doing things because they're good at, but don't like doing it. They're only doing it because it makes them money and pays the bills, and that kind of sucks, to be honest. I prefer everyone to do what they genuinely love doing and make a living off of it. The world would be a much better place. It definitely would be. The world is sometimes a shit show. Like, there is a lot of tragedy in the world, and like there will always be, which is really, really sad. I do think that let me think for a second, like how I want to get back to that, how I want to respond to it, because I do think that it would be a good thing that people would do what they love. How much does this tie in? Okay, so as much as I think that it's a great thing, like as much as I would love for people to like do what they love for a living, I do also think that there's a good reason to also separate these two out, and that comes from someone that did decide for a certain period of time to like make the thing that he loved doing the most his main focus. And the reason why I say that, and like this is also one of the reasons why I say do not follow your dreams. My advice is don't follow your dreams 100%. Don't 100% commit yourself to following your dreams. The reason why that is my advice is because if you are set in stone, if your motivation is so high that you want to do it, if I tell you that, you're not going to get stopped by it. But if your motivation is not high enough that if I tell you like don't follow your dreams 100%, then you should probably not follow your dreams 100%. And why do I tell you that? Is because what I mean with like following your dreams 100% is dropping everything around you, literally everything, and focusing on that one singular thing only. So like you can take a look at like you can call that YouTube, but you could also just call that, maybe my dream is like esports. I want to be the best at esports. So I'm going to drop everything. I'm going to drop out of school. I'm not going to work. I'm not going to do anything but sit inside the whole day and like play games. Play this one single game where I want to be esports pro at. Which honestly, if you want to become an esports pro, that is probably the way to do it. Because basically what it comes down to is like you obviously like you need the equipment, and honestly like this is something that I don't know that much about, but if you want to be the best of the best, you gotta do what everyone else isn't doing, and basically that just means like training harder than anyone else. and basically like the absolute top will probably be training at like the most time that they can, probably 8 to 12 hours a day. They're just practicing. So if you want to get there, you got to do that too. So like, yeah, like if you just look at that and like, hey, I want to, like, I really love playing like this PvP game. That is the thing which I love. It gives me purpose in life. It's my dream to be able to become an esports player. I want to do this, and I want to do this 100%. I still say don't 100% follow your dream. And the reason why is because if you're not motivated enough that like you can, like, you just like throw that flies in the wind, then you're probably gonna at least have a good chance of like going through your entire life, for going through like an extended period of time and do that the entire fucking day. But if you don't have that push, you're gonna run into a wall really quickly, and that wall is gonna be your entire day is gonna be that one singular thing only. Your entire identity is gonna be that one singular thing only. Because if people come up to you, it's like, hey, how did your day go? It's like, well, I trained very hard. Okay, good. What did you do last week? I trained very hard too. What did you do the week before? I trained very hard as well. Like, that's all what you're going to be doing. Or, hey, I spend a lot of time like making a painting, or like painting, or I spend a lot of time just writing a book, or spend a lot of time making videos, or whatever your dream is. Like, just imagine that like your entire life, day in, day out, will be just following that and training as hard, or like working as hard to get to the place where you want to be. That is something which, like, to a lot of people sounds like a dream, and it can definitely be a dream. However, keep in mind, if that's the only thing that you do, it's going to be a dream as long as it's going to be fun. Or not fun, as long as it's going to be, like, going well. Because let's imagine that you're spending, like, 12 hours a day, your entire day, on becoming an esports pro. You're training and training and training and training, and, like, it's very similar to like regular sports. Like, it's like you train and train and train, then all of a sudden the match day comes, and this is like match days or like nationals or whatever your tournaments are like the most important shit in the world, because basically like it kind of allows you to measure yourself with like the rest of the people there, and it kind of like tells you whether you're on the right track or not. So if you get there and like you absolutely slay in the nationals, you can come up to your parents and be like, look at that was a good choice, man. Look at that, I actually became #1. I am going on into the big leagues, into the world leagues. Look at this shit, I was right, my dream is coming true. Let's keep in mind there's only going to be one person. What are the chances you're going to be that one person? If you are thinking right now like, shit, what are the chances? Then you should probably listen to my advice. Because if you're crazy enough that you're like, fuck this, you know, who cares about a chance because I'm going to be there anyway, then nothing that I can tell you is going to get your mind off it. And the only way that you're going to find out what it's going to be like, what your chances are, is to actually fucking do it. And I can't talk you out of it. Nor should I, because, you know, your mind is set, and you should go for it, and either you're gonna massively succeed, and I really hope you fucking succeed, and say, like, hey man, I succeeded, like, that will be great, or you're gonna fail. And you're gonna fail, and you're gonna see that, like, oh shit, I'm not the one, like, the chances were actually, like, slimmer than I thought. And yeah, like, that is something which most likely will happen. It's like, you're not gonna be sunshine and roses all the time. And this is coming from someone who got a Twitch channel partner within a week. This is coming from someone who got 4 national titles with swimming. This is coming from someone who has a lot of people in his life that actually like made into like one of the top things within the thing that they loved. Think about like pro level sports. Think about like building your own like multi-million-dollar business, all that sort of stuff. There's gonna be a time in which like your success is gonna end. And it might be for a very brief time. It might be for a very long time. It might be like very frequent. It might be shorter, but there's going to be a time in which like you're kind of going to like stop and things are going to go down a bit. And like, let's say for just this case of the example, like, let's say that like I decided to spend my entire like year doing esports. Everyone is doubting me because that's what people do. If you stray off the beaten path of doing university, doing like college, doing whatever like education, and getting into a job, and then getting into like a 9-to-5 job, if you go off of that, people are gonna question you. They're gonna question you like mad. First of all, because that's not normal. Why are you doing that? Why are you not being normal? And partly that it's because we always look at like what's abnormal, but secondly also because maybe they're kind of curious because hey, if you can do it, why can't I do it, right? You know? So people are gonna ask, and like the third time, like the third thing is also gonna be like a little bit like mean-spirited, but that's probably not really meant that way. It's more like a defense mechanism. So you kind of have this thing. Brie, what's going on? How's it going? You kind of have this part of you, which is called like, in Hindi it's called the ahamkara. It's also like, we call it the ego. And the ego is kind of like, you know, it's like the part of ourselves that kind of like protects ourselves. that that really like ties into like our identity, like what do we identify with. So like if we make it like our CV, or like if we write ourselves down, like what is like, describe yourself, like you're gonna say like, well, I am like you look at your profession, so you look at your titles, you look at like what is me. Like I could say I'm a streamer, I'm a YouTuber, I'm like a swimmer, I'm this and that. So like the ego is very concerned with like our identity, like what we identify as, and it also is very concerned with like feeling good about ourselves. So if we get into a place where we feel like we are being like brought down, like the ego steps up to like pump ourselves up and push others down, just to like protect ourselves, right? Which a lot of times, like you'll see people that have like very inflated egos, and like basically what they'll do is like they always bring people down. And part of that will probably be conscious. A lot of that can also be subconscious. So don't feel bad if that happens to you. Like you feel like, oh man, I'm kind of like pushing people down or whatever. We all experience that to some degree. But like that's all the third thing when people are asking like, well, why are you doing this weird thing, like spending 12 hours a day on like esports? Why you're not fucking like doing a job or like going to college? Like how are you gonna like pay your rent? Like how are you gonna actually build a career? The reason why they're asking is, first of all, because they're curious, you're weird and like you're not like normal. Secondly, because maybe they want to do that too. And thirdly, because like sometimes when you're really successful at something, or like you're somewhat successful, and then you feel like people around you are kind of like they kind of want to see you fail. Well, a part of that is like, what if they kind of wanted to do that too, but they can't, and like they've made up all these ideas in their mind as to why they can't, and then they see you succeeding at something, they're like, oh shit, now I kind of look like an idiot. Now I look like an idiot because that's what I want to do, but I can't. And right now I'm here, and like I'm actually looking bad because I want to do that, but I can't. And this person out here is actually doing it. Okay, what? And then like the ego just comes up and it's like, okay, hold on, let's think of something. Like, brain, give me some reasons. Okay, actually, it's really dumb. Like what they're doing is really dumb because the chances of succeeding are really low, and they're throwing their future away, and it's really dumb. And like they'll come up with all these reasons to kind of like push down the thing that you're doing, and like kind of pump themselves up and like reassure that what they're doing is right. And like that's something we all do, right? So if people like ask you things in a certain way, if people like approach you in a certain way when you're doing something like this, like playing esports 12 hours a day, following your dream 100%, like it's not necessarily that they're doing it out of like malicious intent. It's kind of just because like that's the way people are. And like that can come across, like you can like completely ignore that as long as things are going fine, or you have like a strong drive and motivation behind you. You can just like brush that off. Some people can just like brush it off so easily. It's like a duck in the water. A duck comes out of the water, and like all the water just falls off of it. It's like it doesn't care. However, what if you've had people ask that all the time? You're like, I'm certain I'm the next prodigy. I'm the next person that's gonna get there. You get to the first nationals, you absolutely tank it. You don't just tank it, you absolutely tank it. Then what? What just happened is that you experience a failure within like, the thing that you're pursuing. Which is totally fine. That can happen with anyone. A failure within like the thing you're pursuing, whatever it may be, sports, esports, whatever dream you're pursuing, or whatever you're doing in life. It may not even be your dream. It may just be like in career, or like with your study. Like in anything in life, you can experience a failure, and you probably will experience a failure of some degree. Like whether it may be small, whether it may be massive, it's gonna happen. However, if you built your entire life 100% around this one particular thing, which is also your dream, the thing that you love, and that massively fails, you are going to feel every single person that comes up to you and says, so what were you doing exactly? So how is this like esports thing working out for you? So I saw that you actually like turned out dead last. So you still think you're doing the right thing? It's like that's gonna hurt. That's gonna fucking hurt. And you know what's gonna happen? In your mind, you got an ego thing too. You got your own ego thing too. And that ego thing is gonna like work overtime, because it is gonna feel every single thing, because your entire identity, the thing that like your ego entirely consumed, was this thing, I'm an esports pro right now. I'm gonna be the next like absolute legend here. And now all of a sudden like that identity has just crumbled. Maybe it hasn't. Maybe it has. Who knows? Because like you don't know what one failure brings. Like, there are so many people that have actually, failed out of high school, then come back into it and then ended up in Harvard or something. Like there are so many people that actually like, a single failure doesn't mean the end. A single failure does never mean the end. You can always like pick yourself up and keep on going. But at the same time, maybe some failure does mean the end of something. Like there are also people that just like, experience injuries where they could not continue their career anymore. That failure was the absolute end of it. But you don't know, like especially like the moment it happens, you don't know what your failure is like. So you're gonna assume the worst because that's what we do. That's the way we were built. Like, we were built, like, if we're in the woods and, like, we hear, like, some, like, leaves rustle, like, we better, like, think that's a fucking lion than that we're like, oh, that's nothing, and it was a fucking lion. So, like, we're gonna think, like, oh, shit, it's gonna be the worst. It's gonna be the worst. So, like, our ego is like, okay, shit. Maybe our entire dream has crumbled. Maybe the entire thing that we love doing has crumbled. Everyone's questioning us. Everyone thinks that we're an idiot. What's the cause? It can't be ourselves, because, like, if we were the cause, then basically that means that we were an idiot. Fuck that. No. Maybe the people that we were playing with were absolutely, like, shit. They cheated. Maybe they cheated. Or maybe the thing like, the game that I'm playing, or maybe, like, the thing that I'm doing is just shit. And that is your problem. That is something you really gotta watch out for. As long as the thing that you love doing is also your job, that you can, like, pay yourself out for, that you're spending all of your time in, and it's going great, fuck yeah, great time. The moment that goes down, you have nothing. And because of that, like, you can't even go back to, like, if you've had a shit day at work, you can at least go back and, like, play some games. If you've had a shit day at school, you can at least come back and, you know, do some sports, do the thing that you love. But if you do the thing that you love 100%, you don't do anything aside from it, and that thing goes wrong, what you gonna do? Not only do you not have anything else to do, because, like, you're doing the thing you love and that thing failed, but secondly, what you also have is, like, the thing that you loved, you invested everything into it, and now all of a sudden, boom, that thing is bad now. So not only do you not have anything, the thing that you loved, that you put everything into it, is now the thing that's causing you sorrow. And not only that, most likely, because you spent everything into it, you don't have an excuse. You can't say, like, well, you know, I went back, like, it sucked because, you know, I gave it, like, I only spent, like, 4 hours a day. Like, let's say you become dead last, like, your esports tournament. Esports is your dream. You become dead last, but, you know, you only spend, like, 2 hours a day on it because you also do school and you also do that. You know, you have a bunch of excuses. However, now you spend 100% into it. You have no excuses. So it's also just, like, everything shatters. That is something that can just, like, take people out. That is something that can take people fully 100% entirely out. Because you just, like, you didn't just, like, shatter something. Like, you're, like, everything, okay? That's what's called going for the depths of hell. That is what's called literally going for the depths of hell. Because, like, you're, like, wherever you're gonna be, you might be at the end of that tournament in the same chair. You might be sitting in the same position. However, you are going to be in an entirely different world. You're going to be an entirely different person. It may take you weeks or months to figure out what the hell is going on. Who you are, what do you still like, what you want to do with your life, it's going to be all gone. That's it. That's why I say, do not 100% follow your dreams. Do it for 90%. But let me read some chat, now I'll get back into it. Let's see. Dice just went to stand beside the modem. My mother had a painted thing drying in there with the door closed. Oh damn. I know what can pump you up. Shows a stash of not drugs. They're asking because they are your IRL follower. Michel, does any of your school friends watch you? I don't know. I honestly really don't know. I actually didn't tell anyone I did this, like, for, I think, the first 1 or 2 years. Yeah, for sure. Like, for the first 2 years, I didn't tell anyone. And still, like, I don't really talk about it. If I meet someone in real life, I don't really tell them that I do this, unless they ask. It's, like, more of the time, most of the time, I'm just gonna be like, yeah, I did some, like, online content creation sort of thing. I don't really talk about it all that much, and even if they do figure out, like, I don't really give the channel, because, like, honestly, it's kind of weird. I don't like to have, like, the connection between, like, IRL people and, like, this. It's like, I love it whenever I go to conventions. I would love to meet people whenever I'm at the conventions that, like, watch the channel. I would love that. I don't necessarily need the people at my work or my university or whatever, like, just to be, like, constantly watching what I'm doing here. If they figure it out, if they come around and they see it, it's like, that's fine, it's cool. Hey, what's up? How's it going? But I don't need people to be like, oh man, just, like, check out my channel, because that's, I don't know. Like, I'd much rather have people, like, watch this channel that actually, like, find it, like, organically and actually watch it because they think it's cool, rather than, like, oh, I know this guy, let me go check out his stuff. It's like, I don't know, it's weird. Let's see, Finisher says, I have a friend whose ego can sometimes go pretty toxic against other players. When someone steals his gun in a game and he proceeds to call them homeless as in being poor and not having a gun. Yeah. Let's see, follow your dreams and whatever comes second place. So yeah, let's get into that. Let's get into why you shouldn't follow your dreams for 100%, but do it for 90%. Why do I say 90%? So, like, basically what I said before, don't follow your dreams 100%, because what's gonna most likely end up, if you're gonna make your entire thing, like, everything you do, like, the thing that you love, your entire dream, and that fails, like, you're just gonna be, like, flatten. That's gonna be it. However, that doesn't mean that you should not follow your dreams, because at the end of the day, you only got one life, fucking go live it. Like, I'm sorry, but basically, if you look at the world, if you look at the universe, you know these pictures of like, oh man, this is the universe, and you're here, you're insignificant. Let me tell you. I mean, they're sort of right. They're kind of dumb inspirational shit, but they're sort of right. When it comes to space and time, like, we're as insignificant as it comes. No one's gonna give a crap. The universe is not gonna give a crap. Maybe the people around us are gonna give a crap for like the next couple of years. Maybe if you do really well, maybe even for the next 100 years or something. But at a certain point in time, no one's gonna give a crap. How many Romans were out there? How many Greeks were out there that lived? Like, how much do we care about like what their names were and like what kind of stupid shit they did? And like, no one gives a fuck. So you're kind of insignificant. Everyone's insignificant, which is okay. That kind of sucks, but it's actually kind of cool, because that means like you can actually like, you know what, if it doesn't really matter, then at least I can do what matters, right? Because like, it's kind of like, hey, if I go and play like a playthrough of like a game, if I go and play a game right here, which is really important, let's say, what would be a really important game? Like, let's say you're doing, what would be a good experience? What would be a good thing? Like, let's just say that you're playing a game. Dragon, how's it going, man? Let's say you're playing a game, which is like, okay, like, let's imagine, you would play through, the very first experience of like whatever game like you're anticipating, like the next game that's coming up that you're really anticipating, whether it may be Halo Infinite, Battlefield 2042, whether that may be like the new Warframe, whether it may be the next Horizon game, the next whatever. Like, imagine that you're playing for that, but you're playing that live on Twitch, on the front page of Twitch, and you're playing that as the very first in the world with like the studio backing you. Like, the studio says, here you go, this is the very first copy of the game, you can play this for the first time, everyone's gonna be watching you, just go play it. At that point in time, because it really matters, because everyone's watching, like, you're probably gonna like go play that to a T. You're gonna play every single like you're gonna play the story beat, you're not gonna like go too much off the beaten path, like, because like, oh man, you know, if I go dumb goof around, doesn't really matter. However, if you go and play it just with your friends, or you just play, you know, right now, you go play Minecraft right now, you just start up your own server, you play it solo, who the fuck gives a crap? And because of that, you can go do things that you actually find fun. Like, oh man, I'm just gonna go build a random duck, I'm gonna go build like this really random shit here, and I'm gonna spend a lot of time doing it, I'm gonna love it, I'm gonna feel good about it. That's what it means. It's like, I think that like, because you only have one life, and like basically because, you know, like, who cares, you should go and like actually pursue, as far as you're able to, like, the things that you actually care about, and not be too worried about like, yeah, but, you know. New War is a myth. Not to be off topic, bro, what games have you been playing? He's been playing Halo and some Apex, yep. Last half a year, I've been trying to get into Apex a little bit. I'll get around to that in like maybe half an hour, I don't know. I'll get around to that in a bit. Like, I plan to talk about Apex also a little bit, why I played that, why I like stopped playing that, and what we're playing now. In the meantime, right now we are like going for the Halo series, because Halo Infinite is coming out. It's looking really cool. I've never played Halo. I went for like the first two Halo already. Halo 3 is going to be starting tomorrow, so that's kind of what I'm up to. What have you been playing recently? So yeah, New War is a myth. NVIDIA, I 100% believe that. Like, seriously, it's criminal. It's absolutely criminal that thing is not out yet. It's like 2018, boys. 2018. It's almost 2022. I can't believe it's going to be coming out this year. Like, holy fucking shit. Like, absolute holy fucking shit. Oh man, oh man, oh man. So yeah, let's see, where were we? Warframe is pulling a Fortnite to Cyberpunk with the new war. It's doing Overwatch 2 with a new war. That's also a game that was announced 2018 and it hasn't come out yet, so it is right on brand. It is right on brand with 2018 announcements. But anyway, so yeah, where was I? Okay, so I say you should, I think you definitely should follow, like, pursue what you think is meaningful, the things that you care about. But I also say don't do it 100%. The reason why is, I think I've used this, like, analogy before. Let's imagine that you have, like, a plate of food, okay? Let's imagine you have a plate of food, and, like, this plate, Actually, no. Let's use a restaurant. You know one of those like hotels like or like these all you can eat restaurants sort of thing. Like if you go to like a hotel, like this is what I love about hotels. Like sometimes you have these like restaurants where you have a plate and you go by like the bar sort of thing, and you can just grab whatever you want. You can grab from like different buckets sort of thing. And you can choose all these different things. I love it because you can just like take whatever you want. It's like kind of like an all you can eat sort of thing. Love it. It's great. It's wonderful. It's like great when traveling. You can just like grab things. It's quite cool. So yeah, if you had like, let's imagine you're in like one of those restaurants where you can just like grab whatever you want, and let's imagine that like you are the only customer within that restaurant, and that means that like you can choose what kind of things there are gonna be they're gonna be offered in your restaurant, right? However, you're not that important a customer that they're not gonna like cook the best 5-star meal for you. They're just gonna say like, hey, what you can have is like you can choose what kind of like meals are like we're gonna present to you, and we're just gonna present to you like all these meals. Like you can choose whatever you pick and choose for that day, but we're only gonna present to you the things that you choose like ahead of time. So what you can do, like let's say that you're following your dream, and your dream, like the esports dream, is okay, buffet. Yeah, buffet. Someone like actually, you know what? Let me get to chat, but first, everyone just put your favorite meals in chat. Like, put your favorite meals in chat, like whatever you like, or just whatever meals come up into your mind, because I need to use them for the analogy. I actually didn't really think of like cold meals yet. Gunna says, that's great to hear, bro. I've been playing Modern Warfare, trying to get back into Outriders, and I want to get to the new Forza Horizon 5. I've been playing a little bit of Splitgate. I have heard people actually like talk a lot about Splitgate. I think I played like Splitgate, like the Alpha or something, like years back. Actually, and then I never came back to like actually playing it. I should try that out actually. Modern Warfare, dude. I really hope at a certain point in time, Modern Warfare 2, like they're gonna re-release that or something. Like, kind of really looking forward to that. Forza Horizon, I've heard so much good shit about that. I should probably try it. Like it's one of those racing games. It's like I've never been much of a racing game person, even though I love cars. I've never really played all that many racing games. So I'm kind of like, I don't know, man. It's like it looks good though, but like I'm really afraid. Now I'll play it and I'm like, oh, I played a couple of races and I'm done. So I don't know, but I'll probably give that a shot as well. Omega Weapon, how's it going, man? How are you doing? Warframe needs some new currencies where you can buy useless stuff with. Hell yeah. Definitely. Finisher pasta carbonara, spaghetti della nonna with meatballs. Oh, nice. Rabaki is the first that comes to mind. What is rabaki? Let me check that out, because like I always love like learning new recipes. Let's see. Oh, holy shit! Just okay. Just look at. Oh my god. Okay, I really want to try it out. I really want to try it. Okay, thank you very much for that. Great suggestion. I love it. Speaking of Modern Warfare, I've heard that Modern Warfare 2 will have some narco ops type stuff, like an agent going after a narcotics gang. Okay, Modern Warfare 2 need not do anything else, but just copy the previous game, high-res it, and then ship it. They don't need to change anything about that. Please don't change anything. Okay, let's go back to our analogy. We're at our buffet. Imagine we're at our buffet, and like every single day we eat from that buffet, and we can choose the meals beforehand. So let's say that we take Villager's example, we say pasta carbonara. We love pasta carbonara. We love it. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna go tell the buffet, we're gonna tell them, just give us pasta carbonara. Like every single day, just give it only that, right? So what we can do now, it's like every single day we come by and we just like grab everything from like the pasta carbonara, we just toss it in our plate, and our entire plate is going to be pasta carbonara. We're going to love it. And we're also going to have this thing where like if we eat that for like every single day, like if you eat like the same meal 3 days in a row, you're going to get sick and tired of it. You're not going to get sick and tired of it that fast. Maybe over time you'll get a little bit sick and tired of it, but not so fast. Not so fast like, eating the same meal like every single day. So, you eat that, and like that's great. But sometimes accidents happen. Sometimes what you can find is like, you go for the buffet, and sometimes like the pasta was like crap that day. Like the supplied pasta was horrible, or maybe the chef had an accident and like the entire pasta's burned. What you're gonna find out is like as you're like digging up that pasta, you're putting it on your plate, your entire plate is gonna be burnt pasta. And as much as that's your favorite meal, fuck, if your entire meal is burned, you're gonna have a shit time. Like your entire day, like your entire meal, your entire like dinner is gonna be shit. Like you're just gonna be like, oh my god, you're gonna have a really bad taste. You're probably gonna have like a jug of milk or a jug of like water to like, drink the burned food taste away, and you're gonna have a shit time. And like that is basically like if you have like a failure, like, within the thing that you're pursuing, like, you're gonna have a shit time because, like, you know, something turned out to be shit. However, because that's the only thing on your plate, your entire meal was garbage. And that's kind of like, if you're going 100%, like, the esports dream that you 100% went for is the pasta carbonara. Like, your entire dream, like the thing that you're only doing in that day, your entire, like, so, like, the meal that you're eating is your day, and basically, like, the meal that you've chosen, like the food that you've taken is, like, the thing that you're pursuing, which, like, if you do it 100%, that's gonna be your dream, your you know, your esports dream. And if that fails, like, everyone's gonna be garbage, and everyone's gonna be ruined. But now let's imagine that what we actually say is, like, okay, we love pasta carbonara. It's fantastic. However, what we also like is spaghetti della nonna, and we also love rabaki, right? We also think that those are great. Maybe we love pasta carbonara even more. We love our esports, but we also have some interest in, you know, doing some physical sports, like, what is it? Table tennis. We love table tennis, and we love esports, and we also really like, what is it? We also really like working with numbers, and, like, we're pursuing something in, like, accountant or something, I don't know, like, we're pursuing some sort of studies. We're pursuing some sort of, like, math studies or something, right? So our main focus, like, of the meal is still the pasta. So, like, we're putting it on our plate, but we also have chosen extra meals that we can choose as well to fill our day with. And some days is going to be still, like, a whole bunch of pasta and, like, maybe a little bit of the others. But other days it's going to be like, well, maybe, like, we do, like, 50% pasta on the plate, and we do 25% of the other ones. And what you're going to find is, like, on the day that the pasta is going to be, like, ruined and burned, the other meals are still going to taste great. And because of that, only part of your meal was ruined, but the rest was still good. Like, you may not have liked the pasta that you just ate because, like, oh man, that was burned, that really was, like, horrible because it was a really bad failure. But at the same time, I had a really good day, actually, because, you know, I won a table tennis competition. That was fantastic, actually. You know, hell yeah, that's quite good. Or I made some advancements in my studies, and, you know, I'm actually getting a degree now. So, like, maybe I failed in this thing that I actually really care about, but, like, the thing that I did to the side actually went quite well. And that is something which I think is really important in keeping your life, like, balanced. And that's why I say, like, if you want to follow your dream, don't do it 100%. Never follow your dream 100%. That's my advice. And if you're, like, strong-minded and strong-willed, then you should just go fucking ignore that advice, because nothing I can tell you will actually, like, make you go through with that. Will, like, stop you from going through with that. And, like, you're gonna find out either you're gonna succeed massively, because there are many stories like that where people have succeeded massively, but there are so many stories that no one ever hears of the people that failed, and you are gonna be in for, like, the time of your life of, like, going for, like, hell and back, and, like, hopefully, like, rediscovering yourself and, like, figuring out what's important, and then living, like, a more balanced life. And that's why I say, like, if you want to pursue your dream, like, focus on, like, the thing that you think is really important, right? But also make sure that you have, like, other meals to decide. Make sure that there's enough on your plate that if one thing is, like, bad, you still have a good meal overall. And that is something where, like, what I'm doing right now, so last week, 2 weeks ago, basically, like, uni took over and I couldn't stream. The reason why is because, like, the reason why I took up university is because I was one of those people that pretty much went 100% for YouTube and Twitch. And this is why I can tell you, like, how much it sucks, because I've experienced that. And the thing which I found is, like, right now I always make sure that I keep a very healthy, like, balance in what I do. So, like, I'll follow university studies. I'll like, balance YouTube and Twitch as much as I can. I will, like, also, like, swim still every single day, because I think it's, like, it really gives me joy and, like, a good feeling if I, you know, if I do some workouts. I think it's great. And then, like, I also make sure to spend some time with family, spend some time with friends, and make sure that, like, I will always have, like, multiple things on my plate, so that if one thing sucks, let's say the Twitch stream sucks, or let's say, like, the YouTube video sucks, let's say there was a really bad fight with my friends, let's say that university absolutely sucked, at least one of the other things probably went right. And that is something which I think is really important. Like, follow your dreams, but do so responsibly. So that is the way that I would say, like, don't follow it 100%, but maybe 80% or 75%. Make sure that you always have someone around you, like, that you aren't tied to just one single thing. And that's as far as it comes down to, like, this entire thing. Like, this started quite a while ago with Gonna saying, like, I wish everyone could follow their dreams. I'd say yes. I wish everyone could follow their dreams to make money of it. At the same time, I also wish that, you know, people would do so responsibly. Because if that's the only thing they do, that's kind of bad. So, yeah. Urker fish pie, frikandel special, pannenkoek, herring ice cream. Ooh, even more food. I love it. Goodness says definitely give it a shot, bro. Splitgate is fun as well. All right, I'll give it. I'll go try it. I'll go try it. So yeah. Let's see. I think the next thing I kind of want to move this into. So now that we've kind of like this like talked about like this track of like why you should never follow your dreams 100%, but you should still like, you know, chase after them. I kind of want to like I really give a little bit of an example of like what I have done. So like what I did a couple of years back, I had some pretty good success when it came to Twitch. I got a Twitch channel like partnered within like a couple of weeks. I got it to over a million plus views and over 10,000 followers, which is like no mean feat, and like especially not in a very short amount of time. So around that time, I really believed that this was something which I really wanted to do. And something which I should really pursue. Sort of similar to like what I did before with swimming, where I got 4 national titles after like years of like training at least like 20 hours a week. And like, so like, I really like decided to fully pursue that because this was something I believed in, something that gave me purpose, something that I identified, like it related with me. It was something that was my dream and I wanted to pursue it because it was meaningful to me. It was a purpose. It was it was a purpose, like everything working around that gave me purpose, gave me life. And that's why I wanted to pursue it. And that's why I wanted to pursue it to the best I could. And I don't necessarily want to go into like how I pursued it because like I kind of like went over to like the main idea of like what also result out of that and like why I came to this realization. Don't fully 100% like go into something, but also like I don't necessarily want to go into it because like that's not something that's really like relatable or useful to you. Like, oh man, this is what I did when I went 100% into like YouTube or Twitch, because first of all, maybe my like the way that I went about it probably wasn't very smart. I was probably rather inexperienced. I probably wasn't very focused. And even if I was, like, if you don't want to go and do YouTube and Twitch, which most likely is something that you don't want to do, you probably want to do something way different. So then, like, even if I were to tell you, it doesn't mean shit to you, right? You can't really do anything with it, right? So instead of that, I kind of want to go into like, why did this thing give me purpose? Why was this thing like going like why was this YouTube and Twitch thing so meaningful to me? And the reason why, and this is something which I've been thinking about like recently a little bit, and we'll like get back to like why this applies to like 2 weeks back basically. But the reason why is like because I feel like a lot of time purpose is kind of like tied back to like things you felt from before, right? So like things that you relate with before. So the reason why I really wanted, like, I've always like had some sort of like intuition for media. I like always had this thing where like I kind of wanted to make videos and stuff, but at the same time I always feel when people say like, oh man, like, you know, he's such a great sports star, he's a pro like soccer player. Yeah, he was always playing with balls since he was like little. He was always like kicking around the football, and you know, he was born to do this. Like, fuck that, you know, like all these stories you hear of like top people, like people that made it to like the top of their field, and then like people say like, oh man, like they always did that since they were born, they were destined for it. First of all, that's bullshit. Second of all, it's bullshit. Third of all, don't believe a single fucking word of that. It's absolute bullshit. Okay, let's go like you can go in your life right now and like you can go and like make up a story like that for yourself for anything at this point in time. Like, I found it's like to me, like whenever I heard those stories where it's like, oh man, like, oh, this person was so talented and like this person was always focused on this thing right here, and that's why they became like a pro person or like the best performing person within their field sort of thing. It's like whenever I would hear that, it was so demotivating. Like, I was always like, shit, you know, what is my thing that I care about? What is my thing that I was already like born to do? It's like, I don't know. Like, what the hell am I doing 24/7? Nothing. Like there is a bunch of things I'm doing, but not one thing. So does that mean I don't be successful? Holy shit! It's like, that's unfair. But the thing is, like, the truth of the matter is that they were not doing that either. Like, if I were to like say, okay, so like let's say that I were to, like, I can tell you right now. So, when I was little, like, I was faster with learning how to swim than some of the people around me. Some of my, like, fellow, like kids that were, like, around my age. So because of that, you could say that I had a talent of swimming. I loved it. I really, really liked it. And then, like, we went with the family. We had, like, a subscription to go into, you know, what is it? To go into like the pool, and we went swimming a lot, and when we go to the beach, I'd swim a lot. So yeah, I always had like this thing for swimming. I could say that, or I could say well, you know, whenever, like, ever since I was like 30 years old or something, we had this camera at home, right? And whenever I would, like, we would have this camera, like, I could grab that, and, like, I would always, like, twist around, like, the little display, and, like, so I could look at it and be like, oh, I'm in the TV show, woo! Like, I could tell you those stories. And when teacher does be like, well, you know, I was born to be a swimmer. I was born to be, like, a media person or something. But in reality, it's just bullshit made up after the fact crap. It's like, I'll just look back and be like, okay, so how can I, like, make a story that looks like I was always busy with this? And that's a lot of time what people are doing, right? So this entire shit of, like, oh, you're, like, when I say that, like, your purpose comes from the past, it's not, I don't mean that, like, you're born with it. The thing what I mean is that as I started out this, like a while back at the start of the stream, like, why do you care so much about, like, a single thing in life and not about, like, the millions of other things? Like, why are you not, like, out there trying to solve world hunger? Why are you not out there trying to, like, solve the hard problem of, like, what is conscious? Why are you not out there trying to, like, solve, like learning everything so you can, like, take part in Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and, like, make $1 million or something? Why are you not, like, you know, why are you not doing anything but you're choosing to, like, really follow one particular thing? And the thing which I found for me is that a lot of times it comes down to, like, what did I relate with in the past? So, for me, like, the reason I really went into, like, YouTube, like the reason why I was, like, interested in YouTube to the YouTube and Twitch the way that I was is because, first of all, like, it reminded me, like, it reminded me a lot of swimming. I really wanted to go back to swimming. At the same time, I always like to have myself hurt because I kind of had this thing in the past where, like, I didn't really, like, identify that, like, I didn't really, like, engage that well with people of my age. And, like, a lot of time, like, when you're young, like, the people, like, within your world are the people of your age. So I was kind of hoping that, like, going into media or something, like, making TV, like the TV shows you'd watch would allow me to kind of, like, express myself more to, like, people and, like, kind of make myself be seen and be heard. And at the same time, like, do cool stuff as well, because TV is always cool stuff. So that's kind of, like, maybe a little bit my motivation, but, like, the most important thing was, like, that was, like, really what I experienced in swimming. And, like, the reason why, like, swimming gave me so much purpose is pretty much because, like, when I was little, like, I wasn't really that athletic, I wasn't really, like, that much into sports, and I wasn't really that social. I didn't really have people around me that I would consider close friends. I was very much solitary into myself because ever since I was young, like, I was always, like, very, like, conscientious. So when people just wanted to fuck around and, like, dick around, like, I couldn't really get along with that. And I also had, like, how do I say this without sounding cocky? Fuck. I also had, like, a higher level of intelligence, like, not necessarily that you could skip a class, but, like, almost to that. So, like, basically when people were, like, especially, like, in, like, kindergarten, my goal was always, like, I was always focused on, like, reading the entire bookshelf and, like, reading the next bookshelf for, like, the next class, whereas, like, some other kids in my class couldn't even read. And, like, with that, like, it made it very hard, especially because, like, I wasn't really, like, a social kid, to, like, socialize and, like, engage with children my age, meaning that I was, like, sort of lonely. So when I got into swimming, and, like, first of all, like, it made me very, like, it made me, like, a lot more athletic. Like, right now I can do so much more, so many more sports, and, like, I'm like probably, like, one of the more athletic people of my age. And when, like, we went into there and, like, were like basically, like, when I started doing swimming seriously, basically meant that you were training with, like, a group of people that were very focused and very committed to, like, trying to be the best. And, like, you were training with them every single day for, like, 20 hours a week, more than 20 hours a week. Like, I made friends for life there, and it felt, like, so meaningful because this entire thing of this past version of myself that I had, where, like, I wasn't athletic and didn't have any friends, I was kind of, like, all by myself, and I didn't really have anyone to engage with. All of a sudden, like, I had this thing where it was, like, I had people around me that were friends of my life, that were friends for life, that I could, like, hang out with, do all sort of, like, tomfoolery, dumb shit with. But at the same time, we were, like, very focused, trying to, like, achieve something really cool. We were, like, getting results. We were, like, training really hard. It was meaningful. So, like, the purpose that I had for that was, like, swimming kind of, like, through, like, came onto my path. But the reason why, like, it gave me so much purpose is because it fits so well on kind of, like, this, like emotion of the past, like, this thing that I was lacking from the past. It kind of, like, fit that very well, and I could, like, fulfill that need. So when swimming kind of, like, got to a point where like it's like the group kind of split up and like whatever happened, like it kind of fizzled out, and YouTube came onto the path. What I found was also like a new field of people that were also like, everyone's like trying to kind of like get to like the best in their field, putting like a whole, like you could put a whole bunch of time in it. You didn't have to like rest all that much. Like from training, like you could train only like a couple hours a day, and you have to like rest your body. With Twitch you could stream for 12 hours a day. Who the fuck cared? It's like you could spend so much time on this. Like I could see myself improving with every step, and you could also meet so many cool people. So I was like, fuck, this is gonna be like, you know, like swimming again. But at the same time, I can also like pursue this dream of kind of like reaching out to people, like you know, being able to express myself in a better way. So like that just like added to the purpose, like that just gave me like this purpose of like these kind of like undigested emotions, these things from the past, these experiences from the past like stuck with me, of like the very purposeful, like the very meaningful thing of swimming that's kind of been taken away from me because like time and people moved on. And also this thing of, you know, like kind of like being not very social, not being like very like kind of being unhappy like when I was young, and like that could like really apply to that, and that's why this gave me so much meaning. And like that's also that's what I kind of think purpose a lot of time comes from, is it comes from like the thing that you identify with, which a lot of times come like the thing that's so relatable to you is a lot of times like something like some emotion or some like experience that like that's like very much stuck with you like from the past. And for like a lot of people, like this will be something different, but like a lot of times, like the thing that gives you most purpose is something which either like satisfies that need, or like is something that could solve a problem that you ran into. So that like, let's say that you were to go for that again, if you were to solve that problem, then you wouldn't have gone for that. So basically like trying to help others like you. And I think that a lot of like what I found is like a lot of times like these things will give me the most purpose when they like actively like apply to the thing that I care about the most. So, let me go reach out. Is Michel Pisces? No, I am not. I care too much about too many things, so I end up being a jack of all trades, but master of none types. Honestly, I can relate to that very, very well. I can relate to that so fucking well, because there are so many things that are so fucking interesting. Like, so fucking interesting. Like, I won't even consider myself to be a master or something yet, right? So, like, it's so weird. Like, I think like there are so many things that I find so fascinating. I want to learn more languages. Like this year I wanted to learn Japanese, but I really ended up like having barely any time for it. I want to learn how to play like instruments. I want to like learn how to do so like there is so much stuff that's so fucking interesting. I'm like, dude, I wish I had more time. So I can relate with this very well, because like there's so many interesting things in the world. I think it's really, really magical if someone like finds something, like one single thing that they want to do, and I know from like very early on that that's what they want to do, and they follow that, and like they actually like get to like do that and like be successful in that. Like that is something which I think is absolutely amazing. And I love it. I really, really love to see when people do that, and I think it's really impressive. When people do that. So yeah. Let's see where we are in time. All right, we're 1 hour and 30 minutes now. I don't think there's gonna be Back 4 Blood today, but yeah, never enough time for all the interesting shit. I know, right? Like, because you also need time to sleep, you also need time to relax, and you also need time to like for all the interesting stuff that you do with like, you know, friends and families and everything. So like, oh my god, man, if there was some way to stop time, but at the same time, if like time was stopped, then like, why would you do something now? Now you do something now because, you know, there's a reason for doing it now. Anyway, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to do it tomorrow. All right, so kind of touched on purpose a little bit there, and the reason why I want to bring that up is because, holy shit, Tribal, howdy, how's it going? 32 months coming to that Twitch Prime subscription. That is the purpose. That's the reason why I do it. Actually, that is a very important reason. Like, how's it going, Tribal? Good to see you, man. Because, like, seriously, like, the thing which I think is very, very, like, cool to me is, like, the fact that Tribal, like, there's a bunch of you, but Tribal's been around from, like, the very fucking start. I think that's pretty cool. Like, we have been, like, oh, man, I can't believe I've been doing Twitch since, like, 2016, which is almost, like, 5 years now. Holy shit. Anyway, it's going well. Glad to hear it, man. Glad to hear it. So yeah, let me think for a second. Where I want to go now. By the way, if there's any questions or something, or like anything that like you want to bring up, feel free to. Let me think. So yeah, I said I was gonna tie this to like something more relevant now, because like the reason I bring this up is, first of all, I kind of want to like try and like, let's see if we can talk about some stuff which also interests me, like going like a little bit. I still remember you asking if I was your Cephalon alerts at the time. Oh boy, that is so long ago. Like that, I vaguely remember that. Oh man. Dude, holy shit. Cephalon Amprex. I remember you had like that Amprex guy as your name. A mega weapon. Didn't you at a certain point in time like went into like Warframe streams or something and then like, you know, asked for Amprexes or something? I don't know. Oh god. That's such a long time ago. That was a great name. It sure was. Dude, that was a fucking time, man. That was a fucking time, the Warframe time. Actually, you know what? Actually, that's a perfect segue, actually. Because I kind of want to like that was like the first time I came by on your birthday. Well, that was like the day that you followed on my birthday. Like that was really cool. That's like a really classy date to like follow like the channel. But yeah, okay, so I said Warframe is a great segue because I kind of wanted to tie this talk, like, first of all, like, I kind of wanted to explore today, like, how, like, if I could do a little bit more, like, topical just chatting, so, like, talk about something, and also talk about, like, topics which I think are sometimes a little bit more meaningful sort of thing, where it's like, hey, maybe you can, like, learn something useful. It's not gonna be all like this, because, like, sometimes I just want to talk about dicks and, you know, bulls and bears butt plug and shit like that, so, like, sometimes I just want to see, maybe we can talk about some stuff where it's like, hey, you know, I can learn something about it. Maybe you can learn something about it. Maybe you can just like have some talks. I love that era of the Warframe community. I agree. I think that is very well put. Very well put. I love that era of the Warframe community. As much as I, you know, like that era of Warframe, I love that. Is that still there anymore? I doubt. But that time I loved. That's a very. I'm probably gonna steal that. I'm probably gonna steal that little. I'm probably gonna steal that quote and like use that later on for like whenever someone asks me about Warframe. It's like, well, I love that era of Warframe. It was perfect. That was perfect. Because like I kind of wanted to like also tie this today to like kind of what's gonna be going on in the future, what's kind of like been happening recently, and one of the reasons why like I didn't stream 2 weeks ago, and also why like the streams have been less lately. I was kind of gonna tie into this. So let's talk about like the Warframe era basically. As I said, like YouTube and Twitch was something that I really believed in, that gave me a lot of purpose, and especially like around that Warframe era, it gave me so much purpose because like a couple of things which I really enjoyed were the social interactions I had with people, being able to like achieve, like get to like new, like explore the world, explore new places, explore new things. Like basically like when I was like making new videos, I was exploring new parts that I'd never done before, like making videos, editing stuff. I was reaching new people, I was meeting new people. I was also finding like an insane bunch of like cool creators to like engage with. So like not only was I like reaching out to other people, like and like finding new ways to express myself, at the same time I was just like getting like cool contacts, and like I felt like I had a bunch of friends and stuff. Like it was a really great time. And like my purpose during that time was basically just to like go and play Warframe, have fun with like a whole bunch of people from chat, from like other creators, from like Warframe devs to like everyone around that. Just play the game, have fun, make videos about it, do streams, and like find ways of like boosting up that community. That was like basically my purpose, and every single day I had a really good time. Until I didn't. Let's go with the Destiny 2 style of like, it was great until it wasn't. I remember us meeting at TennoCon. TennoCon was so good. Like TennoCon 2017 was like literally like the height of like 17, 18 were like fantastic. It was great. It was really good. I think you did a great job at that, bro. Dude, it was really good until it wasn't. And basically like what happened, like what I've been focused on the last couple of years is kind of like trying to like get back my purpose. Like you might have noticed that like we've had a great time on stream and in videos, but at the same time, like it's also been like a little bit different, because to me, like as I said, like one of the things that meant the most to me was like having this like really fun time where I could just like log onto the game, make really cool content, and like make cool content, like test my skills, like have other people, like rise other people up for community events, like for building up the community, and at the same time like having fun with like a whole bunch of friends that I could like trust, like be part of something bigger. I love that, being part of something bigger, being able to express myself and having people around me that like I would consider friends. And then around the time where like we went into like a lot earlier, like another stream, basically within like a month, that was just entirely stripped away. That was like that purpose, that like dream, that the way that Tenocom feeling was taken away within like a month for me. And long story short, basically like the way that went is to me, like one of the most like purposeful things to do were like these Warframe events where like basically we would do these front page Twitch events where we would like have a whole bunch of streamers like stream on one channel. Everyone would be getting like insane amount of views. It was like really, really cool. Like we would like raise a lot of money for charity. Would have like a really fun time with like so many people. We'd like it was just like everything that I really, really loved about doing this combined into like two or 3 days like without sleep. Loved it. But like basically like 2018, Warframe requested I do something, and like basically like they turned around, backstabbed me, and like never came back. And that was like really, really fucking hurtful, because the thing, like the company, the people that I trusted in, and like this thing that I loved so much, which already had like undergone like a bunch of drama during that point in time, people trying to take advantage of it, which like I don't need to get into the nitty gritty of, but like basically like that was something where like this entire thing where like, you know, I believed in it so much was just like instantly just like boom, kind of dead to me. But no worries, I still have my friends, and like I've also told that story where like within like a month of that, when I was like already kind of worried, where like, oh shit, you know, what if this thing falls through, like what do I have, who am I, right? You know, I've banked all of this on like doing this like with this Warframe thing, and like making this Warframe channel, and also, you know, supporting this Warframe community in the hopes that like, hey, if I can like maybe a tide that raises all ships, maybe someone will like, you know, help raise mine. Not realizing that people that can like appear to be friendly aren't actually like friends at all. And you know, like that's something where like even though I was struggling with that, like at that point in time I was like, I'm gonna have a bunch of friends, and all of a sudden it went from like, you know, this guy that was like, you know, having fun, like doing a couch with like Cole and like making videos with Defton and all that, like a whole bunch of people, basically went down to like only having like 1 or 2 people that I could reach out to. Basically like it was like within a month, like the entire thing that gave purpose to this was just ripped away. And that is basically what I've been like recovering from the last couple of years. And we talked about this before, where basically like it's been my journey to like try and get back to that, because like for the longest time I believed that it was solely my responsibility. It was because I wasn't working hard enough. It wasn't because I wasn't good enough. It was because I wasn't like strong enough or wise enough or like talented enough to ensure that my channel was big enough, or that that I had the proper influence, or that I had the best way to react, that I could have stopped this all from happening, or that I could have like done something about this. So like basically over the last couple of years I've been very much focused on like, I gotta build up my channel, I gotta make sure that I have like, because at that time I wasn't really consistent on my own channel, so I was very focused on like doing these big events and like trying to like get bigger and better, and like, oh, let's go for like maybe on-site events, or maybe we can do something to, you know, boost the Warframe directory. I was very focused on everything but myself, because that was also a sore spot I kind of wanted to avoid. So from that point on, it was kind of like my like when everything fell, when like basically like, you know, the floor fell away, the entire focus has kind of been on like trying to rebuild what I thought was missing. And like a lot of that has come down to like some very good things. Like I love right now, as we're seeing like Halo right now is, for instance, like one of those steps in rebuilding. So if we look at over the last couple of years, what have been some good things? What have been some of those rebuilding efforts? Well, first of all, I've decided to more efficient, like more consistently upload on Twitch. So back then I would sometimes do a couple weeks of streaming, sometimes I wouldn't. Well, from then on, like I spent half a year doing 8 hours a day on Twitch streaming, Warframe only, and then like I just discovered like that this isn't for me. I don't enjoy this as much. I think it's really fun, but 8 hours a day is like taking away a bunch of my day. I also want to make sure I do swimming while during that point in time. I also want to make sure I work out. I have some physical exercise. So I incorporated physical exercise and, you know, this this consistent Twitch schedule sort of thing. Then I was like, well, I don't want to be stuck with Warframe all the time, because it is really weird, especially, first of all, like, Brie, what you say as well, like, you know, the era of the Warframe community was great. However, Warframe has changed. Warframe definitely changed, and like the fact that they're not releasing the new word, like, if I look at, like, I haven't played it for like a year almost, and I don't feel like I've missed anything. Like, Warframe has changed. Even like the people that love Warframe the fucking most, like, they are also right now like, hey, you know, this game is kind of like, we're waiting. So the game changed, and like, because of that, I had to adapt as well. So like, what we found is like, we're now doing almost no Warframe. Like, I found a way to like do this chatting. I found a way to like make content outside of it. Like, one thing which this year has been really good at is trying to find like, hey, how can we play like other games? Feather the Crow, how's it going? Talking about purpose? I love talking about things I'll never have. JK, good to see you. Hell yeah, man. How's it going, dude? How's it going? So yeah, like this year, like you can see, like we've done, like I've done these things where it's like, okay, so right now we're playing through. Actually, like last year, I started like archiving my streams, so we can actually go back and like watch them. Like you can have an entire archive from like everything that's out there. We have like a whole memory channel of like all the cool things. I also cleaned up my act with like every single song right now that you listen to is all Creative Commons. There is no copyrighted stuff. There's nothing I need to worry about there. This entire setup has been made. Like the what is it? Like the animations, like this entire this that was the wrong button. The Sims that we have. Like, there's a lot of like construction behind the scenes, like making sure that like the things, like the streams that I do are fine. Like right now, the final step, basically what I'm doing now is highlighting the streams. Like right now we're doing these playthroughs, which I think like are a great addition of this year. We've done some really great streams, like Cyberpunk, I really remember, Battlefield 4, Titanfall 2, Horizon Zero Dawn. Like that is something which I wasn't able to do way back when, but now, like, starting with the Outer Worlds, like I feel like we've been more and more capable of like introducing this thing of like, hey, you know, we can play through games when they come out, or we can play through past games and like have great experience together, and like I can bring that to you in like a fun way on stream, and I can also incorporate that where right now it's also like available on YouTube in like a short form factor way, so you don't have to like rewatch all the like 8 hours, but just see the highlights. Because if I look back at last year, we had some great Among Us moments, but at the same time, like, they're all in full streams, there are no highlights. I wish there were highlights. Why didn't I make highlights? So like that's something which like I wanted to incorporate. And at the same time, like one of the other things which like the rebuilding has done was like part of learning like to balance yourself. Make sure you work out a certain amount of time. Make sure you you know, like also pursue another career. So like right now, like I'm also doing university because I don't want to only do YouTube or Twitch. And like, I know that to some people that's like, oh man, some content creators don't really even want to like mention that because that sounds weak. You're not pursuing this entire like thing. That's not your only goal. It's like, no, fuck that. Because I don't want to be a fucking chill. I don't want to be dependent on the algorithm. I don't want to be dependent on like the mercy of like these platforms that constantly fuck up. I want to make the content that I want to make. I want to say whatever I want to say. I want to talk with you guys. I want to engage with you guys in the way that I want to engage. I don't want to be like, oh no, we can't do like we can't do certain things and stream anymore because the sponsors weren't sponsored. Fuck it. I want to make sure that I also have a revenue stream outside of this. I also want to make sure that, you know, I don't have to be begging for donations or begging for like subscriptions, because that should not be your business. I just want to have fun. I want to be able to entertain. I want to be able to have like I don't want to like have this dependency on these platforms so that much. So that's also something I've learned. Like those were things of like building like the floor back, basically building back the foundation, making sure that those pieces were like back together. And like this year, basically, especially at the start of the year, one thing that I really had to figure out is like, okay, so like while working really hard, I'm almost living life, and that's something that I wasn't doing, because like I really wasn't spending free time. I really wasn't like going outside. I really wasn't looking at like the sunlight or the birds and the bees or anything. I wasn't looking at anything. I was like always like working, and like it really made like the entire thing feel like I'm waiting and working. It feels like a one giant long thing. Anyway, I feel like the last couple of years have been very much focused on like rebuilding, like laying the foundation for like something better. Also, if you look at like the main channel, it has like a better purpose now. If you look at like the or like a better idea of what we're doing with that now, with more like technology and like projects, and you know, maybe some vlogs sometime when traveling happens again. And like the gaming channel also has like a bit of a focus. We've actually refocused the Framecast a little bit more. If we're gonna have one this week, which I think we may have, I actually had like a discussion with Drew about it, because I felt like the focus had kind of gone off it. We weren't quite sure what we were doing, but we're back on track with that right now. So right now, as it stands now, I know the process of everything that I'm doing. I know a frequency of what I wanted to have for everything that I'm doing. I'm able to incorporate that with like university, with like like workouts on a very frequent level. Like I'm able to like incorporate a lot of things in my life. However, all of that was not my purpose. But before I get into that, let me just go and like read the chat. So yeah, Bree says there was like a mass burnout of the folks from that era, but afterwards, so many have just flourished following their own paths to reach a better place since then, though. Yep. I think that it was a great time. However, one thing we were like all very naive to is that Warframe was very controlling, and Warframe was like a very one-sided thing. It's like you were not really building yourself out to be any much better. Like we were only doing like one thing. It was like fun, but as a gamer, like I really like. I've missed out on so many games, like Titanfall 2. I really missed out on that because I was only playing Warframe at that point in time. There are so many games I've now been able to like realize I'm playing and like be like, holy shit, this is out there. And at the same time, also we're doing streams and stuff, like learn like like I don't know, like back in the Warframe days, I wouldn't be able to have done like a just chatting stream like this because there would just always be gameplay on, right? So like there's a lot of things that you learn. Like Warframe also had this thing where basically they had this thing where like they would always like push their like main channels and like they would kind of like want to be the only content creator basically. Emo, how's it going, man? Hi, finally catch you alive. Hell yeah, dude. Finally see you again. How's it going? How are you doing? Hope you're alright. Speaking of physical exercise, I gotta check into the gyms in my new city. Makes a reminder for yourself. Make sure that like, you know, you do it with like the right focus, because like a lot of times when people like check like sign up for gyms, like they think, oh, the sign up for gyms is the only thing that matters, right? But then like they never go. So we can get into that like another time, basically, because that's a whole other talk. But I think like it would be really good to do, because like the thing which I find is like if you do a physical exercise, like to me there's like this really great video by CGP Grey. Check it out. It's about like lockdown. It's about like the spaceship U. And basically he made this like little animation about like when the lockdown started, about like how to manage yourself during the lockdown when you're like basically outside of like normal life. And he compared it to like you're in a spaceship right now because you have to stay at home and you're not really allowed to leave your home all that much. So basically like you're in a spaceship. Yeah, like you can just pretty much say you're in a spaceship. You're not on Earth anymore, because like basically during the high point of lockdown, and maybe still right now depending on where you live, like you are not on Earth. Like Earth is not the same anymore. So basically like what you have is that like you're in space and you need to do certain things. Like one of the things he says, your spaceship is like it has a core, and that core needs to keep turning, and that core is consistent of like your mental well-being and like your physical well-being. And if you don't know where to start with the physical, because it's got a lot better handlebars. And like the thing which I find is like definitely like if I'm like being like doing something good with like doing like good like physical exercise like on a somewhat regular schedule really helps with like the mental element as well. Doesn't really like fix it, like you can still have like mental problems or whatever like while you're in a great shape, but it does make it a lot easier if you're like to like work on that, because like when you're like also working out sort of thing. So I'm good. How are you? I'm quite alright, man. I'm quite good. I'm glad to hear you're doing good, man. I just want 2 things for the gym: a pool and a hot yoga studio. Nice. So yeah, let's see, where were we left off? Where did we leave off? Okay, so this is kind of like where this entire purpose talk like ties back into like what we're doing now. So like as I said, like over the last couple of years, I've been really focused on on like rebuilding like myself, mostly because like I just found like myself with like I thought nothing. Like I went for hell and back, basically. Like as I said, like don't follow 100% don't 100% follow your dreams, because if they fail or like you encounter a massive catastrophic failure, like you're gonna go for hell and back. You're gonna not know where you are. You're gonna have to rebuild yourself. That's what I spent the last couple of years on doing, and like I'll probably spend my rest of my life doing that, because you're never fully rebuilt. Just like so, like a project is never finished. You know, like a city is never finished. They're always building. But I think like I've done most of the building right now, and now it kind of comes down to purpose, like going back to my purpose. And like my purpose, if I look at it right now, like if I look at like the kid that I want to be, or like not necessarily that I want to be, but the kid that I want to you know, that I hold very dear, it's like that guy that every single day just went out to have fun with his friends, to play this one game he really cared about, and then just like do some dumb silly streams and then do some dumb silly events with them, while also like, you know, doing like working on some big stuff which would make people's days and like bring crazy cool like media events. Like that was a great time that was all of a sudden ripped away from me, and that is something which I really miss. And like on really bad times I can get quite attached to that. Right now, like, that is something which I think I should start focusing on a little bit more, because as I said, like 2 weeks ago I was fully focused on university, and like that took away all my time. Also some family matters, but mostly just university stuff. And while I do care about that, I've got to say it's a distraction, because like up until now I've not been at a point in which I could pursue my purpose without falling into the same traps as I did before. I wasn't able to do that in the same sense as I wanted to do. Like there were many things missing. Some things were very necessary for me to have. Some things which may not have been necessary, but just a nice to have. But those are things which are like distractions, because like you can't constantly be following your thing. Like as I said at the start, but also like sometimes you gotta distract yourself. Sometimes you gotta do other things. Sometimes these things are like forcefully induced distractions, like, you know, playing games sort of thing, where you're like, oh man, I gotta do this, and like, oh, I gotta finish this exercise, but oh, let me go play some games. That's like a voluntary distraction. Sometimes distractions also pop up in the sense of like things you got to do. And while I do really like care about like university, and like I think that the field I'm in is really interesting. I'm learning a lot, and like I think it's really cool. I've also found like other projects that are like tied into the thing that I'm, you know, doing. At the same time, it is a distraction, which like it doesn't mean that it's something that I don't care about. That doesn't mean it's something that I see as something like to be thrown away. But it does mean that like I don't get purpose and like meaningful fulfillment out of that. So like if I do that for an entire week and I don't do anything that I find meaningful, I get fucking ugh. So I hate that. I always like that made me realize that I really want to be pursuing like the thing that I really care about, rather than just, you know, trying to distract myself with things that like I somewhat care about. But I was like I actually should pursue the thing that I really want to do. And it's kind of also like where, so like what I'm going to be doing, like I'll get into that in a second. I kind of want to like tie back a little bit with Apex, because I see you mentioned it, and I think that Apex is a really cool example of like how I've tried to do that like in the last half a year a little bit, and like how that didn't entirely succeed. But let me get back to chat for a second. Bree says, wait, I might not even need to pull in the warm seasons. I just remember my mom mentioned something about a public outdoor pool nearby. Holy shit. See where it is. If you like outdoor pools are like really great in like summer, but actually I've also seen like if they're really well heated, they're also just great in like spring or fall when it's like cold outside, but like you can be in there and it's like be totally fine. Like that's pretty cool. Playing the Apex Season 11 a little bit, you know, a little bit. The map looks cool, though. What I think with the map right now, as far as I played only a little bit, is that it's really like the way it's set up. I feel like it doesn't feel like you have much oversight, where like in World's Edge you kind of have an idea as to where everyone is. In Olympus you really have a good idea as to where everyone is. Kings Canyon, like sort of like World's Edge. Right here, like the map is really wide, especially when you start like chasing what is it, Prowlers. Like you're gonna you can sometimes just completely like not notice like there are two squads like very close to you. And you have this really like either you're like the entire ground is flat, or it's like 20 meters up the ground. So if you're on the high ground, you're gonna have a good time. If you're on the low ground and people are 20 meters up, you're fucked. Other than that, Ash looks kind of cool. I tried Ash for a little bit. It's definitely a legend I need to get a little bit more used to. I think that her her Q, like her special, like her Q, basically like her easy ability sort of thing. I haven't really had a great chance to like have that be as useful as I wanted it to be. The ultimate ability, I think, is kind of like, it can also very interestingly be used as like both offensive and like escape. Because like I used it to escape a couple of times, which was like, wow, like you're gone really fast. But like they can kind of chase you. So at the same time, like you are really fast. So like it can be a great time, like especially like if you're, let's say like a squad is attacking you, and you're kind of far away from your teammates, you can kind of like pop back to your teammates. Yes, the enemies are going to follow, but it's better than like that you're like 3 on 3 sort of thing, than being like 1 on 3 and I'm 2 on 3 basically if they like kill you. So I tried it a little bit. I haven't played all that much, but I'll get to that a little bit. So like this year I went into Apex because I was really hoping that Apex would be my way of like gaining back that time which I really miss, like the time of having this thing. What's calling Ash Warframe, Ash Siege, or Ash Apex? I think Loki, dude. Fucking Ash mains around here. Ooh. Oh man, oh man, oh man. I think right now Ash Apex is probably like the new hottest thing right now because like Ash is just released. But yeah. So yeah, like this year, I really went into Apex hard. The reason why is because I saw that as like a way to kind of get back into the time that I'm really missing. Like the time when we had like a great community around like a really active game where a lot of people that like I really care about, like friends of mine that I kind of like stopped having that much like contact with, like Cole and Defton and Mogamu and you know, they were playing that, and I was like really hoping that like this would be a game which could also reinvigorate a stream where like, hey, you know, back in the day when we were playing Warframe a lot, like basically every single stream would be like, hey man, let's go and like, you know, I'm here, we're just gonna go and like farm this shit or we're gonna farm that shit or whatever. Everyone just jump in, we can just, you know, we have like queue up basically, everyone can like jump into like the lobby and we're just go and play some games. I was really hoping that Apex would have that, and they really looked like it because it had like really good like movement, it had a really great gunplay, very interesting legends, maybe an interesting story, maybe we could like do some fun videos around it, and like a lot of people that are like that are close to me played it, and like there was a decent bunch of you guys that actually played it as well, and like actually had a good time joining in. Like we could do some good lobbies with it. But the thing which I found is like it didn't really work out as well because Warframe solo I liked for like a really long time. Like until a certain point where like just kind of burned out that game, but like for a really long time I really liked playing Warframe solo, and like I liked for quite some time playing Apex solo until I kind of got proficient at the game, and the way that battle royales work aren't really fair, and like I don't work very well with games that don't really like, it's more chance than it's skill, and like that really doesn't jive with me if I'm playing it solo. And like the amount of friends that like played this game and like I was kind of hoping to be able to play with really dwindled because like a lot of them just like kind of stopped playing, moved on to something else, or they barely play anymore. So where this game was like really interesting to me to like kind of become like maybe like, oh man, we can relive those times of Warframe, it didn't really work out all that well. So yeah, a thing I'd like to do is put refs old down and then use Ashley Soul. That's a really good idea. I've seen that idea. I really want to play toy around with it. So like that's kind of like what I've been like why I went hard on Apex for like the last half year trying to get better at it. So like I would at least be able to play with like a bunch of people and then make content around it. But the thing which like I found is that like, yeah, I don't know, it didn't work out. And like the thing which I found, like I still think it's a really cool game. If they ever bring in team deathmatch, I'm 100% back on that game. Like I'm gonna like main that game sort of thing. But like last week when we talked about like a comfort game, I've been missing a comfort game that gives me purpose, because like this comfort game, it's kind of like this Warframe community thing like from that era that I'm kind of missing. And it's no longer in Warframe like the way that it was anymore. It is no longer, I couldn't find it really in Apex, and like there's no other game which I can really find like that. So like for instance, like the way that also translates to for instance today I actually went to record a video on the main channel for the gaming channel, but I had no idea what to make a video about, because yeah, like recently something like Back 4 Blood, or what is that, Ascend release, or there are a couple other games which released, but there are barely really any people that I really like that I know that really play these games. It's like, and even if I know that they like kind of play these games, like for instance like Mogami was like, oh man, the Ascent looks really cool, but then like I've never seen him play it beyond that review, and like it's not like we really play games together sort of thing. So it's like, oh yeah, there's a game out which looks kind of cool, but why give a fuck, right? So like right now today, I wanted to make a video, but I just don't know. And that's something which like where like I noticed with like it's also that like we're going for a quiet time with games, but like making videos about gaming, making videos and doing streams, I love it. I really love it. But what really gives me purpose is if I do it in the setting where like I have a community around me, in the sense of like not like the stream like the my community, but basically like have people around me that also make videos and do streams where I can like engage and be like, hey, let's go do this really cool thing, or like what do you guys like want to like, what are you guys covering sort of thing, or and also like be able to help them, be able to like, you know, have them like find like-minded people. So like I think that that's a lot more my purpose than this. Like I love this and I will continue to do this, but I find that like for instance right now it's like when the gaming like world kind of quiets down, it's really hard for me to like make like really engaging content where I'm like, oh shit, like because right now like I've looked into my library, I'm just sitting there like, holy fuck, what would I cover? What's interesting? And especially like if I'm just like I'm like, yeah, you know, we could do something like Apex. Like, I was actually thinking like maybe I could do like an Apex national tenographic video or go hunt some animals for like the evo shields. But am I really gonna do that in puppies? Yeah, no, that's not gonna be cool or interesting. So, like, yeah, we do have team deathmatch with crazy mobility and giant robots too. Yeah, they, it's in Titanfall too. I've actually like I do really like that. I sometimes just go back to go to it and just like have some fun with it. It's great. But I actually think that like people have been saying that Team Deathmatch is on its way because Team Deathmatch in Apex Team Deathmatch is actually coming to Apex Mobile that they're working on. And most likely will ship to the rest of the game then too. And I think that that will be great because like I don't know, like I think that would be cool. I like the legends. I like the legends and their abilities. I wish I could use them in like a team deathmatch style where if you get killed, like the game is not over, but you can continue to play, sort of thing. So yeah, what does that purpose entail? So basically, like right now, as it stands at this point in time, let's see. As it stands at this point in time, I think like a lot of the structures, the back structures of like this channel and like the YouTube and Twitch thing have been covered. My life is in balance. I'm doing different things, so it's time to like start focusing on like the thing which I really want to do, and that does involve like trying to see if I can help people, like me. Not like me right now, but like past me, and I want to see if I can like find a way to make Twitch a better place, especially focusing on like I feel like a lot of creators are living in isolation, which is like really fucking weird, but like it's really opened my eyes, like watching like a lot of podcasts, especially like on something like healthygamer.gg, like listening to like a bunch of like really large creators as well, like telling about how they're like they have thousands of people that watch them every day and yet they feel lonely as fuck. That's just weird to me. At the same time, also like I want to find a way to like rekindle people's spirits, and like if we look at like some of the events that we did with Warframe fan channels, for instance, it's like that shit was crazy. I had a blast as both a viewer watching like the people that I would like watch as like for my Warframe videos and Warframe streams is like stream together at one place. I had a blast as like moderators and like following the stream and like somewhat of like an organizational sense and like watching the chat go crazy and, you know, seeing all the plat giveaways and all that sort of stuff. I had a blast as a streamer, just like streaming with like all these people and like streaming between like segments and like trying to find really cool things and doing challenges and stuff. I had an absolute blast doing that as an organizer, trying to set it up and then seeing like everyone be like, oh my god, it's so cool and oh. And yeah, like I also had a blast. Like I actually went into the numbers and it was actually really good for growth. Like I never looked at this shit. I never I never set this shit up to like make people grow. I never set this shit up to like raise a whole bunch of like number for charity. I never set this shit up to for any other purpose than I wanted to have a really cool event where like the entire community would be in one place and like all the people that like I thought were like super fucking cool would just be like, I wanted to have the entire community in one place and do something like cool. And in whatever way, shape, or form that would work, whether that would be successful, whether that would have like a good charity goal, whether that would have like have people grow or something, like I don't know, that would just be side things. And the thing is actually like I never really thought that it would make people grow, but I actually looked at the numbers and like people have actually like pretty much grown from that. And the thing is like if this could not only like become like a really like if I cannot only like find something else like this where I could create something which would be really insanely fun to watch, but which would also like help streamers out of their isolation, and at the same time would also be a great way of like recommendation where actually like this could be a way to grow on Twitch, which like if you look at like this channel like over the last year, growing is really impossible on Twitch unless you're doing a great YouTube or you're focusing so much on like a single directory. It's really hard to grow outside of like, you know, like just doing variety stuff. So if there could be a solution for that, that would be really cool. So that's something which I want to be focusing on. That hopefully won't take away too much time. I will probably at a certain point in time make a little video about it and see like ask you guys like, hey, if you're a content creator or if you know someone that's a content creator on Twitch or something or on YouTube or whatever, I'll probably want to talk to as many people as possible, or maybe like we'll do some sort of forum or something. But I probably want to be like the thing which I want to do is I want to get as much information, see where people's pain points are, see where like the big problems are for people in the industry right now, and then see how I can like make an adequate solution on that, which will not only like solve a bunch of problems that I know I'm facing and that I know other people are facing too, but at the same time make it like solve it in a kick-ass way that will make some great ass fucking content. So that's kind of like the purpose. That's the thing which I want to focus on. Honestly, I had none of this planned. This talk planned. Yeah, like that's kind of like where I'm at right now. Is it smart? I don't know. Is it like, am I ready to do this? Is this something I should do? Is this something I should take up upon myself? Probably not. Probably this is something which, like, in most likelihood will not succeed. Probably this will not be. I don't know. Like, if you look at the statistics, if you look at like, is it smart to do? I don't know. It's probably not. But this is something that I actually really care about, and I really hope, like, for my own. That it will kind of like also get me in touch again with like some people that are really excited and stoked to make content again, so that we can bring back something akin to On the Couch as well. Bring back something akin to like, hey, let's do a duo stream with people that are excited to make content. Let's do some dumb, like, stupid, goofy stuff. So yeah, so that is something which I want to focus on over the coming little time. I've already been like talking with people behind the scenes about it. I'm already having someone that like wants to work with me on this. So I'll keep you guys updated on how that goes. I'll keep you guys updated on like what the status of that is. Expect it to take a couple months because like a lot of what I want to do is really going to be focusing on what is it? I'm trying to like get information, like learn what's going on. Is what I'm thinking, right? And then like seeing how we can do this in a good way. Definitely bring back the couch, bro. Yeah, I mean the couch, like the entire ordeal with the couch is that it was never in my hands to begin with, because if it was up to me, if it was entirely up to me, the couch would have never gone away. But Cole, if you want to bring it back, you gotta ask Cole. You gotta spam him to death, and maybe at some point he won't want to do it, but I guess like right now it's, I think like literally for like I need to find someone else, because Cole's probably is most likely not going to do it anymore. Did see more from him again today. Don't know what he was doing, dude. But I was on Steam, and all of a sudden he was like playing Warframe for hours, and I was like, holy shit. So anyway, so yeah, that was like the purpose talk. That went on for way longer than I expected it would be. What's the time? It is okay. We're 2 hours in. Let us take a little break. Let's talk about something dumb and funny, I guess. Is there something that we can talk about that's just like something like, let's just come up for air sort of thing, and then let's go into like the other talk topic. We're probably not going into Back 4 Blood because we don't have that much time anymore. This took up so much more time. I hope it was interesting. I hope it was like fun or something, because yeah, I don't know. I wanted to try something new today. Also, I ate HSD. What's up, dude? What's your username? Like where like isn't it abbreviation for something, or like how do I pronounce it? Like what should you what do you go by? What do you go by? i8 is like the BMW i8. Here, let's see. Because the i8 is a pretty damn good car, eh? It's like, this was like the very first electric car that actually looked like, hey, this is an electric car I want to have. It's actually not that powerful, but dude, it just looks like you drive a fucking Lambo, dude. Like, this shit looks pretty damn cool. And like I think that relatively speaking, they're also not all that expensive. It's an Arabic name. Oh, cool. Well, the i8 looks like I thought it was like it comes with it came from the BMW i8, and it's pretty cool, dude. That's really awesome. Yeah, this is definitely interesting. Good to know you're a man with a plan. I always like to have a plan. I never know when it's smart to share it, because like a lot of times it leads to space. That's electric. Yep, that's an electric car. It's been out for like a long time. This was like, they released two, which is like the BMW i3. They released these two at the same time. This thing as well. Now, this thing I find absolutely horrific. Like, this car looks like it has been in a crash before you even buy it. But this thing looks amazing. So, like, I don't know why they made this and then they made that. But this thing is fantastic. And, yeah, like, that was, like, the first electric car that you would look at and be like, Damn, boy, damn. Because before that, like, this was even before Teslas. So, like, you'd have, like, possibly, like, the most what you'd have was, like, the Fisker Karma. And, like, that was kind of cool. But the thing with the Fisker Karma was that, like, it wasn't all that practical. It wasn't all that useful. So, like, some people would drive around in this, but basically, like, I think that was, like, one time where, like, a warehouse of, like, full of these flooded, and then, like, they just exploded. Like, literally all of them exploded. And then no one wanted them anymore. But yeah, it was that and that. If you compare that thing versus that thing, this thing is good looking, really good looking. Oh man, oh man. Alright. Excuse me for the little break. I want an electric motorcycle, but my mom would kill me if I got a motorcycle. Let's see. Tribe actually had a great motorcycle recently. Let's see. I'm gonna stream Mega Man Star Force. I gotta start all over because emulators on phones are not really good sometimes. I wish I had a PC. Yeah, sometimes you can have like emulators that like don't save, which is like unfortunate. But yeah, PCs right now, like as it stands right now, are like still like fucking expensive because of like the chip shortage. Oh man, oh man, oh man, it's so bad. It's so bad. I really hope at a certain point in time where we're finally gonna be over this and you can finally buy like CPUs and GPUs for somewhat of a decent price again. Somewhat of a decent price again, but we'll see. Let's see. And I'd never be able to afford insurance on a car and a motorcycle. Yeah, like one thing which I don't understand, one thing which I do not understand is like why is like the insurance on like a new car really expensive for young people? It's like if you are so afraid that, you know, a 17 or 18-year-old will crash their car and that's why you make it expensive, why don't you make it like more like cheaper for them to like buy a new car with all the latest safety features? Because like, isn't that like more smart to do? But yeah, I've got a 2016 Honda CBR 650F, so let me just go like grab a picture of that because that would be pretty nice. It's a pretty damn cool one to see. Let's see. I've been looking at Damon motorcycles, but I still got a lot of research to do. Damon motorcycles. Hold on. Let me go grab a picture of that. Damon motorcycles. But can it cook rice? Oh, is this the electric one? Holy shit. Damn. There was recently like an electric motorcycle that like I don't know what a brand was, but like electric motor bikes. There was one, was that this one or something? There was one recently that like that I saw that looked like really weird. Like it went with like one of those design things. It was like, oh, let's design it to like look futuristic, but it looked so like uncomfortable. Maybe something like this or something. I don't know. But this looks pretty sweet. They even are electric. I mean, then again, like I'm not that like knowledgeable about this, so because it's not my area of expertise. Let me just put it that way. Yeah, it's electric and Canada based. Holy shit, that's so cool. Check out the WMC 250E V-Bike. It has Venturi tunnel. Don't necessarily know what... Oh, wait. Holy shit. Okay. Dude, that is super aerodynamic. Holy shit. Is this going to be actually like a production bike? Like a consumer production bike? Or is this literally just for racing? This is literally made to be as streamlined as possible, I think. Check it from behind. Let's see, do we have some pictures from behind on it? This from the front. This right here. Damn, dude. Holy shit, look at that. Fuck. Insurance in general makes no sense. It wasn't until recently that they stopped basing it on your gender, and even that probably still happens in some countries. Well, like there was this really interesting like video by what was it by Top Gear like years back for like the teenage car challenge. They set out as like 17-year-olds to like buy a car, and basically like they would have to pay premiums as 17-year-olds as though they were gonna write the car off 10 times or even more than 10 times. Like, I'm gonna crash this car so that I'm gonna like need to rebuy it 10 times. Like, it's insane. It makes no sense. But yeah, it has a hole in it from behind. Yeah, right here. Holy shit, dude. You can, oh wait, you can look straight through it? No, oh my god. Yeah, I see that right now. But do they have like a... Holy shit, I didn't see this before. Holy fucking shit, dude, I didn't see it. Oh my god. Charwell, have you ever seen one of these? I really want to get a bike, but they're expensive as cars where I live. It's supposed to got one of the biggest ranges for a charge and making it for best for safety so far from the electric ones. I come back to streams. What's this? This right here is a bike with a hole in it. It's a whole bike. Not a whole bike. It's also a whole bike, but not a whole bike. It's a whole bike. A bike with a hole in it. What's that? This right here is a very aerodynamic bike, which got a hole in it. It's called the WMC 250 EV. It looks like this, or like that, so you can like be super aerodynamic, but it's got a hole in it, so you can look through it, so that like if you're right behind it, you can see what's in front of it. It's weird. It surely does look weird. A boneless bike. It runs around 400 kilometers an hour. Holy shit. Omega, you can always come up with like these really cool things about like cars and motorcycles. Like those Elenator, like that one, like what was it, like 2-3 weeks ago? Like that shit like still blows my mind. Where basically like in Germany, apparently they have like cars. Oh my god, this shit is weird, man. This shit is like crazy. So I didn't even know about this, even though like I live right next to like Germany. I've never seen one of these. Basically, these are cars where they swap, where they take away like the back wheels and they put the two wheels together as one wheel in the back of it. And the reason why they do that is because now 16-year-olds can drive it, because it's no longer a car. It's actually like less safe than a car because it has 3 wheels instead of like 4. But this right here they can drive because it's not officially a car. And then apparently they can convert it back into like a whole car again once they turn 18. And it's like, dude, like this shit is like crazy. I have never ever seen anything like this before anywhere. I don't know anywhere else in the world that this exists, but like this shit is like wow. Like look at that. It's so weird. Check out a Dutch Tomahawk. Okay, let me go grab that right here. What the what? This real? Is this real? Okay, so okay, so with this shit, I wonder, right? If this is real, why doesn't everyone like buy this? Like everyone's gonna be like have an 8 or 9-year-old inside that absolutely fucking would want this. Like, dude, this looks like a fucking like Batmobile. This is so like a steampunk Batmobile. What does it drive on? Like, what does it ride on? Let's see. Oh wait, it's non-street legal. Fuck. Why do they gotta... What? It's non-street legal. It came out in 2003? Holy shit, this shit looks like it came out today. Why is this not like street legal? Holy shit. Initially shown off as a one-off concept, and later that year, it came as a limited production vehicle, where they announced that they would sell hand-built reproductions on order. Holy shit. It has a 10-cylinder car engine and has 4 closed-coupled wheels, which gives it a motorcycle-like appearance. Experts disagreed on whether it was a true motorcycle. It has a 500 horsepower V10 engine from a Dodge Viper. Holy shit. The Tomahawk two front and two rear wheels are sprung independently, which would allow it to lean on corners and counter-steer like a motorcycle. Dutch press releases and spokespeople gave the various historical top range speeds ranging from 300 miles per hour to as high as 420 miles per hour. Honestly, you would say 420. Which analysts thought would probably be calculated with horsepower and final drive ratio alone, which probably without accounting for drag, rolling resistance, and stability. These estimates and the more conservative 250 miles per hour a designer suggested could be possible were debunked as implausible or physically impossible by the motorcycling and automotive media. No independent road tests of the Tomahawk have ever been published. Why not? As the company said it in internal testing, it was never ridden above 100 miles per hour. The Tomahawk was sold through the catalog at a price of $550. Dude, this right here, if you ever saw this at a price of $555,000, buy it because it's a fucking investment. That shit is gonna rise up in value right now. I wonder like how high they're gonna be. As they were not street legal, Dutch said the reproductions were automotive sculpture and intended for display only, not fully operational. Industry observers said the Tomahawk was a resounding success at one-upping rifles and taking the trade show spotlight, and was a branding and marketing recoup. I'm pretty sure that they must have made them like, if I'm paying $500,000 for it, you gotta at least make them like, make it like functional. Let's see, design, suspension, fabrication. Let's see, performance claims, aerodynamic consideration, testing, critical reception. Let's see, has anyone ever driven this? And they must have been able to drive this on private property or something. Dude, that shit is crazy. That is absolutely crazy. I love that. I love that. They should make more of this. They should make more of these sort of things. Let's see. Now we have the MTT Y2K Superbike. What? What is this? Dude, this looks like... It looks like weird. It's pretty much a Hot Wheels. Dude, like, it has, like, a really weird, like, its dimensions are, like, oh, like, it's strange, right? Like, it looks like the proportions aren't exactly, like, how you'd imagine it would be. Like, I can't write pin on what doesn't look right, but, like, there are things that, like, don't really look like the size that they should have in comparison to the other parts. It's like, this exhaust looks kind of big, but then, like, the headlight looks kind of small, but then, like, this right here, if you just, like, if you don't look at, like, the rest of the bike, then the front looks okay, but then you look at this and the side panel is kind of large. It's like, I don't know, it's dimensions are kind of weird for this one. A watermelon cannon. A watermelon cannon indeed. Is that a bullpup bike? I don't know. Villager like told me to like check it out, and like honestly, I like it's kind of funky. It supposedly goes up to 330 kilometers per hour. Damn. I mean, you probably want to do that before like someone can actually check out on like what the what is it? Before you can actually check out like what the dimensions are like, before they like realize, oh my god, that kind of looks weird. Before that, like you're already gone. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So yeah. Ugh. I don't think we're gonna get to the other topics today, dude. Are we? I actually really wanted to talk today about like the why we should not be defending game devs anymore, but I guess we're gonna save that for like another just setting stream, because that is something which I really want to get into, because especially with like we got new games coming out soon, and right now like a lot of these games have this thing where they're like, well, you know, we're shipping a $60 product, but it's not done yet. It's gonna get better in the future. And like, I hate that shit. I fucking hate that shit. People come up with excuses for it all the time. And I kind of think that there is a really good reason why we should not be excusing devs like that anymore. Both from like whether you like love that game and whether you're critical of that game. I think for both camps, like we should not be making excuses anymore. I think that that is something rather important. Which I kind of want to get into and like kind of see like what you guys feel about that. As well, like whether there's something like you agree with, whether there's something you don't agree with. But yeah, we'll do that for another time, because right now, like, it is kind of getting late, and I also don't really want to, like, it's something which I kind of want to get into with, like, when I'm focused on it. Like, today I thought it was great, like, there was a lot we could talk about and, like, get back into and all that sort of stuff. But now, I noticed, like, 2 hours in, like, I can talk about random shit, but I, like, going on a really structured thing that takes some time, and like I'm kind of like a bit of exhausted about it. But anyway, yeah, so like that was a stream for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to get the couch back, go harass Cole about it. I've already said like about a year ago that like to me it's over, since like I don't ever see Cole getting back to do it again. But if you guys can like make him crazy enough to go and do it, and you want to bring him back, go harass him. He was on Warframe today, so apparently he is still alive. I don't see it happening, but if you want to, you can try. Moreover, what was more important today, we went over like the purpose thing and like committing to your dreams. I thought it was like rather interesting. If you guys have anything to like that you want to like anything like you have experienced with like pursuing your own dreams, or anything that you have experienced, like feel free to like, you know, throw it in Discord or something, because right now like we don't really have that much. So throw it in Discord, or like if you see this on YouTube, like leave a comment down below. Like I think it's this stuff is like really interesting to me to talk about. I think it's really cool to like talk about things that normally we don't really talk about, because when you have the time to talk about it, and who knows what I can talk about. Like honestly, like I don't know what I'm talking about. I have no idea. But at the same time, it's like if I bring it up and then like see how you guys react, and like I'll learn new things. Hopefully you'll learn new things, and together like we explore. So I think that's cool. However, also we're just talking about dumb stuff sometimes. So maybe I'll do this like once every month, once every 2 months, like just find some cool topic and just like dive into it. I don't know. We'll see. A really great stream as always, bro. A great conference as well. Always a pleasure watching you, dude. It was good to see you again, man. It was good to like see you again. Like seriously, it was a lot of fun. Like everyone coming back in, like just it was a good time. I enjoyed it. So yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow for Halo 3. We're going to be playing Halo 3. It was the very first Halo 2 video will be out on the channel. Maybe if I can find another video for the gaming channel this week, I might publish it, but I have no idea really what to record this week yet. So it's just going to be Halo from now on. I'm sorry on the gaming channel. It's literally just like Halo at this point in time. I'm sorry. I really wish I could find something more, but at this point in time, it's kind of quiet. And there's something else going on. I'm also focusing on other projects. So I'll be seeing you guys around. Have a good one. And as Xani would say, and now I have said for a bunch of times, goodbye. Until next one.